Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good morning, KSL News Time. It's 5 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
There is a chance for a light snowfall again today, but for the most part, you might want to take today as a chance to catch your breath from all the winter weather.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with details. Adam?
Amanda, I think the best description I can use for today, let's call it a dusting. There is a chance of scattered snow showers today. I'm even looking on the KSL Vortex right now. You can see snow falling in some areas like Sandy, other parts of Salt Lake County, and also around the Great Salt Lake Antelope Island up into Layton and Ogden. But it's going to be pretty minimal. So I spoke with the National Weather Service. They told me, first off, you're going to see a better chance of snowfall later this morning, and the bullseye seems to be more so bountiful to Ogden. Those areas could potentially get about an inch. Other areas of the Wasatch Front may not see any measurable snowfall. The mountains it's still snowing up there, still could pick up another 2 to 6 inches. But it's tomorrow we really got to prepare for where we're going to see more heavy winter weather, which we'll have more details coming up in the next half hour. Reporting live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Last night's storm dropped a new layer of snow onto Utah's resorts. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with those totals. Michael?
Tim, it really came down up in the mountains, and with it came a new layer of powder. Alta and Brighton packed on 19 inches. Snowbird and Solitude got 18. In Deer Valley, Park City, Mountain, and Snow Basin got 14, 13, and 12 inches respectively. Now, the storm that topped that moved south, but Brian Head hasn't gotten any new snow over the past 24 hours, not yet at least. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Eye on the Hill 2024. Special coverage on Utah's Morning News.
A Utah lawmaker says protecting personal data online is more important than ever. KSL News Radio's Mark Jackson begins our team coverage, Eye on the Hill 2024.
If passed, the bill would protect people from being compelled to produce their personal private electronic keys to their personal digital assets and cyber wallets.
You have all of your cryptocurrency stored on a ledger or in some type what you would call a bank account. And the only way to get into that account is with your private key.
Bill sponsor Representative Trevor Lee says this is different from a public key where everyone can see crypto transactions, but these private keys are the only way to access cyber accounts. Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
Another bill lawmakers will consider this session targets using AI to exploit people. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff continues our team coverage, Eye on the Hill 2024.
House Bill 148 would add pornographic images generated by artificial intelligence to Utah's existing statute.
Right now, deep fake images are already illegal in the state of Utah. This just goes in and clarifies that with the advancements in technology, this is also going to include videos and images that are built using artificial intelligence.
Representative Stephanie Grisha says this bill is an attempt to stay ahead of technology and to make sure the state has the legal tools it needs to deal with these created images. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories now. The latest GOP debate played out last night on CNN just days before the Iowa caucuses. Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis slugged it out.
Right from the start of last night's feisty debate in Des Moines, Iowa, the gloves between Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley were off.
We don't need another mealy-mouthed politician who just tells you what she thinks you want to hear.
Every time he lies, Drake University, don't turn this into a drinking game because you will be overserved by the end of the night.
Both candidates trying to prove they're the best alternative to former President Trump, the frontrunner in the GOP primary.
ABC's Derek Dennis says former President Trump opted to skip the debate, instead holding a town hall a few miles away on Fox News at the same time.
After that town hall, former President Trump spoke with reporters and was asked about recent polling.
President Trump, are you worried about Nikki Haley gaining on you in New Hampshire?
Not even a little bit. She doesn't have a chance.
He then said he isn't worried about the other candidates, saying he's leading by record numbers.
ABC News political director Rick Klein says he isn't sure last night's debate between Haley and DeSantis moved the needle for many voters.
This was a small ball debate at a time that you'd typically be swinging for the fences. And the result is that they were basically playing it safe, playing it for second place. I think if they wanted to, or if they were seeking still to beat Donald Trump head-to-head, if they thought that was possible in Iowa, then I think they would have been handling this quite a bit differently.
Klein says he was surprised the candidates didn't spend more time going after former President Trump or President Biden.
Let's get that first look traffic this morning. Andy, how are things?
Not so good. Roads have been plowed for the most part, but there's still lots of snow and ice on them. Exits and overpasses are particularly dicey, including one right now where we have a rollover crash. Car actually went down the embankment on the ramp from westbound 80, going from downtown towards the airport at the 215 interchange, but reduced speeds through a good chunk of the Salt Lake Valley, through I-15 in Lehigh. Doesn't look as bad up to the north, though, at least so far. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
The first of two important reports on inflation will be released this morning.
The Consumer Price Index, or CPI, is expected to show a slight increase in prices from November to December, but an overall drop from 2022 to 2023. It'll be followed tomorrow by the PPI, or Producer Price Index, which measures inflation at the wholesale level before it reaches consumers. Usually they move in tandem, but as we've seen over the last few years, that isn't always the case.
ABC's Terry Albinger says today's CPI report will be released around 6:30 our time.
What is going on with our Jazz? They're suddenly one of the hottest teams in the NBA, beating several of the league's top teams over the last week. And the winning continued last night with a win over the Denver Nuggets.
Kessler pulls it out with 4. Hands to Clarkson with 2 on the shot clock. Drives, floats it. He's learning to fly! Utah by 22!
By 22 points.
Wow.
Now, when they beat the Bucks on the road, Damian Lillard didn't play in that game, so I guess that's a little bit of an excuse. But my gosh, they've been playing well. That's David Locke, by the way, in the KSL Sports Zone. The Jazz play the Toronto Raptors tomorrow night.
California lawmakers are trying to ban youth tackle football.
Lawmakers say the ban will reduce brain injuries. Studies show that the longer a person plays tackle football, the higher the risk of brain damage. The bill focuses on children 12 and under. If passed, it would ban children under 6 from playing starting in 2025 and children under 12 in 2029. The lawmakers say participation has already been declining. It fell more than 18% from 2015 to 2022. California law already bans full contact practices for high school and youth football teams during the off-season and limits practices during the preseason and regular season. No state has been able to ban tackle football so far, but New York and Illinois have tried. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
That'll be something, won't it?
Yeah.
I remember when that was brought up, well, this was a little while ago, and the NFL was concerned because if you don't have kids playing Little League, then at some point you don't have a feeder system for your own football.
I wonder whether, it's been a while since that story came out that told us what happened to these players, that 99% of all retired NFL players have that CTE in some form.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just out of sight, out of mind, and people aren't worried about it as much anymore.
I don't know. Several spots of slowing throughout Salt Lake County, but as Andy said, and I found this on my way in too, there's a lot of snow still on the roads. We'll see what's going on with traffic and weather together when we come back.
Reliability, steadiness, trusted voices.
I'll listen to KSL in the morning, and if I happen to be in my car and I'll notice it's close to top of the hour, then I'll go there to hear the news.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com. The universal truth of women's shoes. The cuter they are, the more they hurt.
You have to put your best foot forward, and if your best foot is an ugly shoe, oh my goodness.
Lisa Ann thought she had to choose between looking good and feeling good until she got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now I can wear the shoes that I've picked out because I like the way they look, not because they were comfortable.
Good Feet relieved her pain and her fashion dilemma. Stop by or schedule your free fitting.
Stop by the Good Feet store in Farmington, Riverton, or Sandy for a free fitting. Call 1-800-NEW-FEET or visit goodfeet.com.
We're on the snow watch again today. I think, what did we see? A 50-50 chance that we'll get some more. There was actually a few flakes falling on my way in this morning. Team coverage for you throughout the morning. At 5:09, let's see how it's affecting your drive, if at all, this morning. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. I'm sure, Andy, that the road crews have been at it all night long, but you're right. There was more snow on the ground than I expected, even on I-215.
Yeah, and they've even plowed it, too, but it's just kind of like a little skiff of ice, and with the cold temperatures, those exits and overpasses are really slick this morning. Right now, as far as crashes go, the only one that seems to be having any effect is the one that has the ramp closed from southbound 215 to go to westbound 80 out by the airport. But all those ramps on that interchange are very slick. Same thing on the west belt at 21st South, I-80, I-15, all those interchanges. And reduced speeds on the main flow of I-15. It's snowing a little bit still out in West Jordan and down towards Harriman along Mountain View Corridor, but kind of a light snow, but just adding to the slick conditions. Len?
And you're seeing some wet roads in Davis and Weber counties, but nothing quite as severe. But, of course, watch for those ramps. And we do have I-84 quite slick and dicey from South Weber over to Mountain Green as you make your way up Weber Canyon. Otherwise, the south entrance to Hill Field is looking, it's pretty snowy right there. Not a lot of cars stacked up yet, but just take your time this morning. Eric?
Wet, slippery conditions in Utah County, particularly in Provo on University Avenue. Basically in spots from the freeway all the way up to the mouth of Provo Canyon, and northbound I-15 from Lehigh's Main Street up to Timpanogos Highway along the Wasatch Back. You've approved traction devices are required for semis this morning if you're on US 40 going by Jordanelle Reservoir. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, how about cold highs in the upper 20s today? Cloudy skies and a slight chance for a stray snow shower. 21 overnight, goes to 34 tomorrow with a chance for snow showers. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Where do we start the morning? How about 23 degrees downtown?
So Chris Christie is out of the race. He said, I would rather lose by telling the truth than lie in order to win.
Yeah, it was something. Did you watch his announcement?
I didn't.
There were people sitting right behind him because it was a town hall.
Yeah.
People sitting right behind him, and when he said, I just don't see a path forward, wow. Those people behind him just about sunk all the way to the floor out of their chairs.
Really, because they're big supporters.
Yeah.
We'll learn more about it with Stephen Portnoy just ahead on KSL.
Stay with us. You'll find us streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
A stranger with a gun fires on two teens, shattering lives. But that's only the beginning of this story. Listen to The Letter at theletterpodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. Listen, we're fiduciaries. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. That's 888-999-6370. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. Now, imagine how that would be if you could actually retire 3 to 5 years sooner than your plan was. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan, taking into consideration any rental properties that you have, any pension income that you have, your Social Security. Listen, we put that all together for you in writing. It will allow us to build your income based on inflation. You know, inflation has been rapidly rising. You and I both need a plan that whatever we start out our income at, in 5 or 10 years, we're going to need 40% more income. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 5:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
take today to catch your breath. You could see light scattered snow, but tomorrow it's going to ramp right back up again. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, a proposed bill here in Utah would crack down on people who use AI to generate sexually explicit images to exploit others.
Third, a look at traffic and weather together.
Got a ramp closure right now from southbound 215 to go on to westbound I-80 because of a vehicle that went down the embankment. They're trying to get it back up to the road. And reduced speeds throughout the Salt Lake Valley. City Street, some of them you can't even see the lane markers, even though they have tried to plow it. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mainly dry today with clouds and a high of only 29. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 23 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
And time for our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. 4 days to the Iowa caucuses, and last night, Republicans Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis debated for the final time. Former President Trump did not take part in the CNN debate.
Immigration, a top issue, with DeSantis touting a Trump tactic.
We will build a wall.
Haley going after DeSantis for campaign finance issues.
If you can't manage a campaign, how are you going to manage a country?
The candidates also tangling over America's support for Ukraine. Haley and DeSantis did agree on one thing, both saying Trump should have been on stage with them.
That's ABC's Derek Dennis. The former president today expected to be in a New York City courtroom for the closing arguments in the civil fraud trial against his businesses. Judges at the International Court of Justice in The Hague have opened legal arguments in a case filed by South Africa accusing Israel of genocide in Gaza. ABC's Tom Rivers has more from the foreign desk.
South African lawyers are making the case to impose binding orders on Israel, including an immediate halt to its military campaign in Gaza.
South Africa contends that Israel has transgressed Article 2 of the Convention by committing actions that fall within the definition of genocide.
Israel will present counter-arguments on Friday. A decision will likely take weeks.
66-year-old man was killed. 3 others were hurt in an avalanche at the Palisades Tahoe ski resort in California, and the Consumer Price Index that measures month-to-month inflation out this morning. You're listening to ABC News.
All right, let's go in depth now. Christie dropped out of the 2024 presidential election, so the question is, will it boost any of the other candidates?
ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy joins us live. What do you make of his withdrawal, Stephen?
Well, look, Christie knew he wasn't going to win the nomination, so he wants to make an impact. And what you heard him say last night as he announced he's dropping out of the race in New Hampshire, he's going to do everything he can now to stop Donald Trump from becoming president of the United States. He says that's more important than his own ambition. He did not endorse another candidate last night, and that was pointed. It's also interesting to hear what he said in a hot mic moment just before he went on the stage. He was wearing a microphone, and his campaign was streaming the output of that microphone on the campaign website. So reporters happened to be dialed in, and they recorded it, and it's now public. And what he said was, Nikki Haley is, quote, gonna get smoked. You and I both know it. She's not up to it. Now, he also said that Ron DeSantis had called him petrified that he would, and then the mic drops. The line cuts out. Petrified that he would what? We don't know exactly what he was getting at, but petrified that he would endorse Haley? Because it goes to the question that you guys were asking. Who stands to benefit from Christie's dropping out of the race? A CNN poll this week indicated that 65% of Christie supporters would choose Nikki Haley if they had to make another choice. Now, in New Hampshire, where the electorate is unique because it's an open primary where undeclared candidates can vote in the Republican primary, which means you'll have independents, maybe even liberals, taking part in the Republican primary in New Hampshire. Christie was polling in third place with anywhere from 10 to 12% support in polls, and that was a pretty strong showing for a guy who doesn't have much national support. Nationally, he was about 3%. So if 65% of Christie's supporters go to Nikki Haley, and Nikki Haley is zooming in the polls, not quite leading, of course, because Donald Trump is leading, but getting close. Maybe New Hampshire will be a hotter race than we had been anticipating. But New Hampshire will be viewed properly as a unique situation where, as I say, it's semi-open. Undeclared candidates can vote. That's not the case in most other Republican contests nationwide. And so the results there might not necessarily be indicative of the larger outcome. But it's all about momentum. in these early state contests. As attention is focused on a candidate and they have a larger national profile, more people are paying attention, and all of a sudden they're seen as a viable choice. And that is the path that Nikki Haley would have to follow if she's going to take down the Republican frontrunner.
Christie basically said when he got into the race that he was going to, just go after Donald Trump every minute of his day. And yet it seems like Trump sort of blunted that by not showing up to any of the debates.
Well, you're right. He didn't show up last night either. And so last night you had a debate where Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis were going at one another, sniping and accusations of lying and misinterpreting their records. And while it focused on a wide range of policy subjects, it wasn't necessarily illuminative. I think that the bottom line is, you're right. Donald Trump is far and away the national frontrunner. This is all about who's going to possibly come in second. Nikki Haley certainly has the momentum. I don't think it was blunted last night. And with Chris Christie's removal from the race, you'd wonder if he has 3% national support, maybe that'll go to her. Maybe it'll be split. Maybe it won't matter at all. It probably won't matter at all, but we'll see.
Wow, it's always fun to follow it. Thank you, Stephen. The ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy with us.
And that is the In-Depth this hour at 15:45.
Right now, downtown, it's 5:19. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with DinoPay. Andy?
Well, Amanda, we've got a crash on northbound 15. Listener tipped us off. We got it in the cameras now. Just after 90 is south. It actually looks like a truck with a plow blade on the front that lost control and has hit the barrier. So they got the right two lanes blocked, but a lot of that freeway still has icy spots. I-15 reduced speeds. Your drive time from Point of the Mountain to downtown is 30 minutes plus already without a whole lot of traffic on it. 215, even more slick. Be really careful anywhere where the freeway curves or you have to drive on an overpass or exit. Right now, the ramp from southbound 215 is closed to go on to westbound 80 near the airport because a vehicle went off the road. Len?
Looking in the cameras near the power station on I-84 Weber Canyon, it looks like it's snowing big time right there. And slick roads are showing up in the sensors as you make your way eastbound from South Weber there, I-84 at 89, up to Mountain Green before it eases up. 89 is looking pretty good. I-15, these are wet roads, but traffic sailing along, not too frozen, but keep an eye out for it as you make your way this morning. Eric?
He is a little bit slick going out through Parley's Canyon, as you might expect. You got slowdowns from the mouth of the canyon heading up to the top of Parley Summit. It's particularly slow at the moment as you try to go up Lambs Canyon eastbound up to the top of the summit. I-15 in Utah County, the slowest spot will be in Lehigh right now from Pioneer Crossing northbound through Lehigh all the way past Timpanogos Highway to Point of the Mountain. Cypress checking account members enjoy discounted rates on auto and RV loans, free access to their credit scores and reports, and a suite of other products and perks. Learn more at cypresscu.com. Cypress Credit Union, your future is our future. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has clouds in there for today. 29 the high and a slight chance for a stray snow shower. 34 tomorrow, snow showers. We go for snow and maybe some rain mixing in on Saturday, high of 37. Back to 34 with a switch over to snow showers on Sunday. Partly cloudy and cold, 27 dry on Monday, 29 on Tuesday. We go mostly cloudy with a high of 34 on Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
So there is some snow out there this morning already. 23 degrees in the 7-day forecast, brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Our Eye on the Hill coverage continues as we get ready for the new Utah legislative session next Tuesday. Today, we're looking at some bills that involve tech and how the state is trying to, in some cases, get out in front of problems that they see coming down the pike or that already are happening because of developing technology.
And AI in particular.
And AI, yeah, in particular. Boy, that's a big challenge for any legislature. We'll follow that this morning here on KSL News Radio.
We had a good day yesterday at the closing bell. We'll see what the numbers look like when we check Money News next.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Looking for the best show deals on new and used RVs? You'll find them only in Ogden during the Northern Utah RV Show, January 11th through the 15th. We're bringing in new and used inventory and low show pricing inside the Golden Spike Event Center. For 4 full days, shop new and used travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, motorhomes, and more from the nation's top brands. Find early season discount pricing on all new models and fantastic used RV discounts like a 2011 Dutchman 185 DB Sport for just $9,995. You'll also find that every remaining 2023 is being sold at clearance pricing during the event. Plus, get no payments until April on approved credits and huge trade-in offers on your current RV. Go to NorthUtahRVShow.com to shop the best deals first. This show season, you'll find it all in Ogden. Admission and parking are free to the Northern Utah RV Show, January 11th through the 15th inside the Golden Spike Event Center. Open daily at 10 a.m., closed Sunday. Then we're back at it Monday, Martin Luther King Day from 10 to 5. Sponsored by Bish's RV. Don't miss it.
This year, wouldn't you like to stop feeling self-conscious about your receding hairline or thinning hair and to start feeling confident with the way you look? Millions of men and women around the world trust Hair Grow from New Nordic as an effective way to get thicker-looking hair. Hair Grow is backed by an exclusive U.S. patent and is clinically proven to promote more hair growth. One actual Hair Grow customer writes, "After trying Hair Grow for a month and a half, my hair began to grow and thicken with no breakage when combing or shampooing. My hair is beginning to look great." Another writes, "A friend of mine noticed lots of increased hair growth. I couldn't be happier with the results and highly recommend this product for anyone with thin hair." Start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow. Ask for Hair Grow at your local Walgreens or shop online at Amazon.com or NewNordicUSA.com. That's new, NORDIC USA.com. Amazon, or ask for Hair Grow at your local Walgreens. New year, new you, New Nordic.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. The layoffs continue at Google. Hundreds of employees working on its hardware, voice assistants, and engineering teams were laid off as part of cost-cutting measures. The cuts follow pledges by executives at Google and its parent company Alphabet to reduce costs.
Cryptocurrencies are hitting the stock market. The Securities and Exchange Commission approved trading of the first exchange-traded funds that hold Bitcoin. They're an easy way to invest in a group of assets like gold, junk bonds, or Bitcoins, but having to buy the actual assets themselves, the agency says it's still deeply skeptical, however, about cryptocurrency.
Video game streaming platform Twitch is laying off more than 500 employees. CEO Dan Clancy says they're cutting costs and becoming more efficient. The company was purchased by Amazon almost 10 years ago. It's not the only department cutting employees.
Yeah, they're also doing it in their movie and television division as well.
Wow.
All right, let's see what the markets look like. Yesterday, I mentioned we had a pretty good day. We were up almost 0.5% on the Dow. It finished up 170. The S&P was up 0.6 or 27 points. The NASDAQ also up by 112. Futures today going to give a little bit back on the Dow. We're off 25, but more gains on the S&P, nearing a record, by the way, if it closes in the green today. It's up 4 points. The NASDAQ futures up 56.
We have reduced speeds on the 215 belt route on all sides, and that's also the case on Bangerter Highway from Bluffdale to West Jordan. It's cold out there and some snow flurries in parts of the Wasatch Front. We'll check it. Traffic and weather together next.
I say it all the time. When it comes to your SOTA weight loss journey, there's no time to lose. There's only time to win, and there's no time better to win than right now. This is the time to get going on your SOTA weight loss journey. It's SOTA. It stands for state of the art because it is state of the art. You've heard me say it over and over. I lost 37 pounds in 90 days. I'm 2 years into my maintenance program. I'm exactly at the right spot. Feel great. Look better. Everything's right where I want it to be, all through SOTA weight loss. Right now, your chance to win is even greater because you could actually win a full year of SOTA's amazing program. And get this, a $2,000 wardrobe makeover in SOTA's Shape Up Showdown. You're ready for it. All you have to do is email shapeup@sotaweightloss.com. As I said, there's no time to lose. There's only time to win. Check it out at sotaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Weeks like this are what KSL is all about.
Moderate to heavy snow throughout the day, through the overnight.
The roads up north just getting hammered right now, including I-15.
Thicker, heavier, wetter snow than this powdery light stuff we've been getting.
Harder to shovel come the weekend. Extra reporters, emergency traffic conditions, school cancellations. Rely on KSL News Radio.
102.7 FM,
1160 AM.
And ask Alexa, play KSL News Radio.
The movie show is at Minky Couture in Layton this Friday from 10 to 1. Check out all the ways to stay cozy and warm during these cold months. MinkyCouture.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Already some action out there, Andy.
Yeah, we got a ramp closed from South 215 to go to westbound 80. That's over by the airport for traffic coming out of Davis County. That is closed because a car went down the route. Now, they've got a tow truck. They're pulling it up the hill, but still nobody able to go onto that ramp. North 15, just after 90 south, we've still got the two right lanes blocked by a truck that lost control and hit the barrier. So a little bit of extra slowdown. But you're going to see reduced speeds throughout the valley. Bangerter going down through the river bottom. All those roads that are near the river, crossing over Jordan River, really icy this morning, heading up towards the freeway as well. Len?
We're looking at a little bit of a stretch of slowing as you make your way southbound on I-15 in the Layton area. Looking at the cameras, not seeing an accident. It's just slow, a little bit icy in there, Layton to Kaysville. Also on I-84 there, Weber Canyon, it is very icy. I've got the camera on a road there, eastbound Adams Parkway, which is right at the intersection of 89 and 84, and it's quite snow-covered on those ramps there. Eric?
Northbound I-15 dropping below the pace in Utah County because of the road conditions, and spots from Payson up through Springville all the way up to University Avenue and Provo, and then further up the line a more solid stretch of slowdown. That is that you're going to be consistently slow the whole stretch northbound from Lehigh's Main Street up to Point of the Mountain. If you're going through Parley's Canyon, a lot of slowdowns there as well, going through the mountains as you proceed towards the Park City area. Start your dream kitchen or bath today at Bedrock Quartz, where it's only 7 days from template to installation. Visit New Murray or Spanish Fork showrooms or bedrockquartz.com. bedrockquartz.com. Eric Butler, KSL Traffic Center.
We have a chance of snow today, but more of a chance tomorrow. We'll see rain and snow mixed on Saturday and more snow on Sunday. Right now it's 23 downtown.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio.
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 5:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
We're not going to get a ton of snow today, but cold temperatures are making sure some of the leftovers stick to the roads for the morning commute.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small begins our live team coverage. Adam?
Amanda, in terms of accumulation today, you might see an inch between areas like Bountiful and Ogden. Otherwise, it's just going to be scattered, and that comes later today. The main issue we're going to encounter is the fact that it's not going to get above the freezing mark in the valleys. KSL Weather Center is only forecasting a high of 30 degrees today, but that doesn't hit till this afternoon. If we're talking hourly, by the time you're rolling into work around the 7 o'clock hour, it's only expected to be 22 degrees. Even on my drive in, I-15 looked pretty clear in Davis County. I know the plows are out there, but I definitely encountered some slick spots because just that water from the residual snow is just having such a difficult time melting, even with the salt. Just make sure you're taking it a little extra slow and carefully today. Reporting live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
A new law in Ogden hopes to make life easier for snowplowers. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit continues on live team coverage. Michael?
Tim, this new law prohibits on-street parking whenever snow removal seems imminent, or when more than an inch of snow or ice is on the road. You see, snowplows can't cover a whole street if someone's parked their car on the side. Now, there are exemptions. It looks like you'll still be able to park on state roads, streets with no driveways, or roads otherwise designated for not having adequate off-street parking. There are concerns about enforcement, but city officials say this is about getting the roads cleared, not about making it difficult for residents. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
The first snow squall that hit the state early this week nearly killed an 85-year-old man from Cottonwood Heights when a tree fell on top of him. KSL TV's Garna Mejia has that story.
Doug Edmonds lives for a good story.
Got some extra donuts, and I was delivering them to that house, my next door neighbor.
But it was on his walk back home that the sky suddenly dimmed and Mother Nature placed Doug on center stage. Doug was buried under the branches of his neighbor's pine tree. He estimates it was at least 55 feet tall.
Edmonds says he probably would have died if he were standing in a slightly different spot when that tree fell.
Udot snowplow teams were definitely busy last night, as were their incident management teams. Tanner Thomas is one of Udot's safety specialists that drives around and helps people stuck on the side of the road. KSL TV rode along with him last night as he helped as many people as he could.
He hit the wall, and his front passenger axle is kind of broken, so we're just going to tow him off to the next exit. If people slow down a little bit and if they have good snow tires and all that in the winter season, they can prevent a lot of accidents.
He says his main priority is to help everyone get home at the end of the day.
KSL's top national stories now. Hunter Biden is due to appear in federal court today on tax charges. ABC's Alex Stone reports.
Today's hearing is expected to be quick, likely only a few minutes for Hunter Biden's arraignment on 3 felony and 6 misdemeanor counts. Typically, an arraignment moves quickly. The judge today will not be the judge at trial. Biden is accused by special counsel David Weiss of choosing not to pay over $1 million in taxes and evading others, to instead use that money on drugs, escorts, and luxury hotels, among other things. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The final GOP debate before the Iowa caucus took place last night on CNN. With only 2 candidates on stage, former President Trump instead held a town hall on Fox. ABC's Andy Field has more.
Donald Trump on a Fox News town hall, shrugging off Christie leaving the race.
The fact that he dropped out, nobody cared too much about that.
The former president instead commenting on a Christie hot mic moment, saying Nikki Haley would lose in New Hampshire. Haley on CNN responding to Christie, saying Trump lacks character.
His way is not my way. I don't have vengeance. I don't have vendettas.
Ron DeSantis listed promises Donald Trump never kept. Andy Field, ABC News.
First look traffic now, and here's Andy Farnsworth.
Lots of problems. Honestly, we're probably going to have more crashes than we can keep track of today, so we'll just try to keep with the main ones, including South 215 to go on to West 80. That ramp closed because a vehicle went down the embankment. There's a crash on northbound 15 with a pickup truck sticking out halfway into 2 lanes on the right side. But reduced speeds, icy conditions, basically from Lehigh American Fork on I-15 all the way to Salt Lake. Going into the canyons, Big and Little have changed 4-wheel drive restrictions this morning. Now's the time for a gorgeous new Nilsson home. Beautiful move-in ready townhomes to Rambler communities. Maintenance free for all life stages. See what's new for you at nilssonhomes.com. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
The Davis School District is facing a lawsuit over alleged racial discrimination. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has been digging into the lawsuit, and he also spoke with the local chapter of the NAACP.
With more allegations of racial discrimination at Davis School District, I spoke with Janetta Williams, who shared that her organization is actively speaking with school superintendents across the region. But what if students don't feel like they can trust faculty? Williams said her hope is whoever they feel comfortable telling that they do, because the worst case scenario is if students don't speak up.
We don't want the students to shut down and not report anything. We want to make sure that whatever way that we can find for them to discuss or talk about it, to report it, we want to make sure that they're doing that.
You can learn more about the lawsuit at kslnewsradio.com. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Researchers at the University of Utah and the Natural History Museum just completed the biggest evolutionary research to date for magic mushrooms.
One of the core motivations for this project was to establish a very robust and representative family tree for the genus Psilocybe.
That was head researcher at the Museum of Natural History, Bryn Dettinger. The 3-year study now provides groundwork for future research, especially about the therapeutic effects of the mushrooms.
A different study is showing that more teens are developing psychosis from using marijuana.
A psychotic episode after using cannabis was associated with a 47% chance of developing schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. That's according to the American Journal of Psychiatry. 16 to 25-year-olds are the most at risk, and a third of them already using cannabis report hallucinations or paranoia. The risk of developing psychosis after cannabis use is higher than amphetamines, hallucinogens, opioids, and alcohol. The rate of cannabis-induced disorders were more than 50% higher at the end of last year compared to just 2019. Many researchers think it's because the drug is much stronger now than it was 20 to 30 years ago. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
We have big leftover delays from the snow last night because of slick road conditions. We'll check it. Traffic and weather coming up next.
Severe weather is in the area.
Commutes could be interrupted. Plan for extra time.
Keep listening.
And we'll help you avoid the traffic problem spots.
Important updates of traffic and weather together coming up on the 9s.
On KSL News Radio.
If you're trying to decide which gutter protection to put on your home, don't just ask how they'll handle leaves. Ask how they'll handle ice. Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors, and that's right, ice. See, plenty of gutter guards are good at keeping out leaves, but most are made with flimsy materials that can bend, buckle, and break under the weight of too much ice. Kind of a big problem in an icy state like Utah, right? At RGS Exteriors, our exclusive gutter protection systems are built Utah tough. They're made with premium strength materials that hold up to 1,200 pounds of ice per square foot. Simply put, they're not going to budge. Our gutter guards are also certified to handle hurricane-level winds and rain. Mother Nature can't damage them. Guaranteed. Utah Tough Products. That's the RGS way. For a free estimate, call 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's rgsexteriors.com or 801-280-3110.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because no two people sleep the same. Only the Sleep Number smart bed lets you each choose your individual firmness and comfort, your Sleep Number setting. The Climate 360 smart bed is so smart it actively cools or warms up to 13 degrees on either side for your ideal sleep temperature. The Queen Sleep Number C2 smart bed is now only $9.90. Plus, free home delivery when you add any base. Ends Monday. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
5:39, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. What about now, Andy?
Still got the crash north 15, blocking a couple of lanes just after 90 south. It's going to be a longer drive this morning, no matter where you have to go in the Salt Lake Valley. Road conditions, plows have been working all night, but there's still lots to go and a lot of icy spots to deal with, both on freeways and city streets. 215 along the south end. Figure on some extra time going up the west side, and we still have a ramp closure from southbound 215 to westbound 80 by the airport as they try to pull a car back up onto the road. Looks like they may be able to reopen that soon, but still closed for now. Len?
Looking at wet roads in Davis and Weber counties, but I-15 is working quite well. Legacy as well as US 89, but Highway 84, I-84 in Weber Canyon is icy and snowy with the snow coming down. Also, where Harrison Boulevard reaches US 89, that is snowy and a little bit slow just south of Weber State as you make your way this morning. Eric?
I-80 slowed through Parley's Canyon this morning along the Wasatch Back. Approved traction devices required for semis on US 40 going by Jordanelle Reservoir. Provo Canyon also slowed. In Utah County, seems to be getting a little bit better going through Payson, but you still got slowdowns northbound 15 in spots from Spanish Fork up into Provo, and you've still got a lot of slowing on northbound 15 from Pioneer Crossing on all the way up to the point of the mountain if you're in the north part of the county. Update your kitchen with Durden's Appliance, where they meet any competitor's price. Visit Durdens.com or on 5th South and Bountiful. Durden's, brands you know at prices you'll love. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
29 today with cloudy skies, slight chance for a snow shower. Overnight, mostly cloudy, 21. 34 tomorrow with snow showers. Then we get more snow showers as we work into Saturday, maybe even some rain. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Single digits this morning in Park City. It's 8 there, 23 now in Salt Lake.
I'm thinking about the threats of violence against judges in the country and the actual violence against judges, like that woman in Las Vegas.
It was a crazy video.
Yeah, the guy just dives over the bench to attack her. And what is the effect of this on our democracy? Are we a law-abiding people in the way that we were? We're going to talk about that with Brad Garrett just ahead on KSL.
Stay with us. You'll always find us streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Winter is certainly back this year, and I bet your old furnace feels it. It's like not going to the gym for a couple years, and you decide to get back in shape. Hello, I'm Brian Jackson with Manuel Plumbing and Heating. It might be time to upgrade that old out-of-shape furnace with something new and efficient. Until February 2nd, Lennox is offering up to $1,500 in rebates on an ultimate comfort system. Give us a call and let one of our sales staff provide a free, in-home estimate on what Manuel Plumbing and Heating can do for you and your home. Call Manuel Plumbing and Heating, 801-262-4671. Too bad getting back in shape isn't that easy.
They say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. You may not have that kind of time for weatherization, energy efficiency, and appliance rebates, but we do. Dominion Energy's ThermWise program has experts who know where and how to save money. They help homeowners and businesses find simple ways to conserve natural gas and rebates through upgrades that may help to save even more. We put our energy into helping you conserve it, so you can spend your 10,000 hours becoming an expert in what matters to you. Start with a home energy plan at thermwise.com.
It's only a minute of news. How long could it take?
I do a lot of surfing late at night. I'm looking at all my favorite internet sources, Wall Street Journals, New York Times. People throw me ideas, but when I sit down in the morning and it's time to write, it has to resonate with me. I have to have something to say about it. It is my minute of news.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
My savings are gone.
Okay, where were they last?
Here, right before I spent them on that vacation to Aruba.
Weird. Not weird. Not saving now means no money later. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
KSL News Time, 5:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
a new law in Ogden is prohibiting you from parking on the sides of snowy streets. That way, snowplows can cover the whole road. I'm KSL News Radio's Michael Commit.
Second, several proposed bills here in Utah are designed to protect personal data online.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
I-15 traffic struggling in Sandy because of a crash blocking a couple of right lanes, but it's going to be slow from Lehigh all the way to Salt Lake City. 215's in even worse shape. And you're going to be dealing with city streets where you can't even completely see the lane markers, although the plows are out working trying to make that better. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
29 today with clouds, but the snow returns tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
23 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Let's get a look at our top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. The Iowa caucuses are 4 days away, and last night, Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis debated for the final time. A major topic, the man who did not take part, former President Donald Trump. Haley in the CNN debate referenced the 2020 election.
Donald Trump basically said that the election was stolen. He went on and on talking about the election being stolen. He said that January 6th was a beautiful day. I think January 6th was a terrible day, and we should never want to see that happen again.
Today, closing arguments expected in New York City in the civil fraud trial against Trump's businesses. Legendary NFL coach Bill Belichick is parting ways with the New England Patriots. That's according to our partners at ESPN. Belichick won 6 Super Bowl titles in New England. The news comes a day after fellow coaching giants Nick Saban at Alabama and Pete Carroll of the Seattle Seahawks moved on. And arguments at the International Court of Justice where Israel is being accused of genocide. This is ABC News.
All right, time for the KSL In-Depth. After multiple reports of lawmakers getting swatted and threatened, is our democracy at risk?
Joining us live is ABC News crime and terrorism analyst Brad Garrett. Brad, we were just talking, Tim and I, about how are we still a law-abiding people here in America?
Well, I think so. But my big concern is the rule of law getting eroded? And I say that because there are so many people that are angry and enraged about what President Trump's going through as far as all the court cases, things that he says. They basically have aligned their reality with his. And so what happens is that every time something doesn't go his way, which seems to be with regularity, they come to his defense. And if you look at these cases, the swatting things that Tim mentioned, threats against the Colorado Supreme Court, I mean, it goes on and on and on. It's all driven by it's in disagreement or it's against former President Trump. And my concern is that the number of people that feel that way are potentially growing, which means if it's growing, then the small number of people that would actually act out may well be growing.
Well, to me, it seems like the swatting thing is going on both sides of the aisle. Republicans in Washington are getting the same treatment, and it goes back, or maybe you can weigh in here, does it go back to social media and this idea that you can say or do anything and not suffer any consequences?
I think that's a large chunk of it. I mean, Tim, we've had, civil unrest, a civil war, congressmen involved in duels back in the 1800s. So, violence has always been there, but it's always been sort of localized. To your point, everything now gets magnified. And then when you have politicians supporting that magnification, you're going to get a fair number of people to follow you. And President Trump is really talented in getting a certain core group of people to follow him.
I'm nervous after what happened to that judge in Las Vegas that people of good character and competence will be reluctant to serve in those roles because of this.
If you look at the studies, Amanda, by experts who study democracies, they will tell you that as more of these type of events occur, you're going to get people less inclined to want to take on these jobs or be so fearful about making a decision that it would affect the safety of themselves or their family that they don't rule the way that they would like to rule, which then takes you back to, like a king telling everybody what to do. That's a bit simplistic, but that's the concern is some of the independent thinking and ideas and thoughts and democracy of, how you run the courts in Salt Lake City versus how the courts are run in some other city. I mean, that's up to the folks in Salt Lake City, obviously within the confines of the law. But, that's really the big concern I see. And 2024 just strikes me as going to be in particular bumpy.
Yeah. Bumpy.
Bumpy.
Might be the easier term to use here. Brad, as always, we appreciate our visits here on Thursdays. Brad Garrett, the ABC News Crime and Terrorism Analyst.
On the In-Depth at 15 and 45.
All right, 5:49. Traffic and weather together is brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Back to Andy.
And right now, travelers struggling to get through Sandy. A crash on I-15, couple of right lanes blocked as you head up towards 7200 South. That's where the only stop and go on the freeway is moving out of those right lanes. But reduced speeds, your drive time through the Salt Lake Valley, Draper to downtown right now is in the 35-plus minute range. 215's west side, not any better. Bangerter and Mountain View starting to stack up in West Valley earlier than usual as well. Len?
Weber Canyon, I-84 is snowy and icy from South Weber over to Mountain Green, and in the same area, Highway 89 in the South Ogden area looking slow where Harrison Boulevard comes into it, which is also slow with ice. Sardine Canyon, a little bit slick up there in the Mountain Road Way between Brigham City and Logan. I-15 right now is working pretty well in Davis and Weber counties. Eric?
About Utah County, well, we got slowdowns northbound 15 because of the road conditions through Spanish Fork up to the first Springville exit. Then for a while, it's going to look good until you get up past Pioneer Crossing. And then you've got slowdowns again as you go past Lehigh's Main Street and all the way up to Point of the Mountain. Timpanogos Highway also slow eastbound, westbound from Highland over to Lehigh this morning. With fresh snow comes fresh deals at Murdoch Chevrolet. Right now, lease a 2024 Silverado 1500 for only $399 per month. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast goes for highs in the upper 20s today, cloudy skies, and a slight chance for a snow shower. 34 tomorrow, snow showers possible. Working into Saturday, that looks like the brunt of our next event. 37 the high, snow potentially switching to rain. We'll go 34 as snow showers on Sunday. 27, partly cloudy for your Monday, dry. Overnight low into Tuesday morning, 9 degrees. Daytime high Tuesday, 29, partly cloudy. Mostly cloudy on your Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
It's 25 degrees right now, and the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
And this portion of the news brought to you by the Utah Symphony. Find tickets at utahopera.org.
Mr. Mac's Buy One, Get One sale. Buy one suit for $299. Get the second for $100. Any style, any occasion. Free alterations in 9 locations. Mr. Mac.
You can stream your favorite show anytime, but the opera only happens 4 times per year. Join us and make new memories with your family and friends. Enjoy the entertaining stories, beautiful sets and costumes, and mesmerizing music. You deserve an elegant night on the town or a Sunday matinee with Utah Opera. Your couch will be there when you get back. Start the new year with a magical opera. The beloved children's book, The Little Prince, is brought to life by Utah Opera in a colorful and vibrant event at the historic Capitol Theater. See the Little Prince and the whimsical characters he meets on his incredible journey. Sung in English, this opera is a perfect outing for adults and kids 5 and older, including a Sunday matinee performance. The iPad will be there when you get back. Tickets start at $21. Get yours today at utahopera.org.
Tim and Amanda.
If this is the first time you've ever joined us, can we just say welcome? I hope you come back and see us again. Tim and I have been doing this for a long time, and we love what we do. But the best part of what we do always and will always be connecting with you.
How many times do we say people don't understand how much information and really love we get from that side of the radio?
Yes.
They thank us for giving it to them, but we get it back so many times.
Wake up with Utah's Morning News with Tim and Amanda, 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
Watching Utah's Money this morning is brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Netflix ad-supported tier is doing extremely well. It hit more than 23 million monthly users. It is much cheaper than an ad-free version, sitting at $6.99 a month.
Say goodbye to Fruit Stripe Gum. The CEO decided to discontinue it after looking at consumer preferences, purchasing patterns, and brand trends. The decades-old gum came in 5 flavors and included a temporary tattoo of the mascot, Yipes the zebra.
Yeah, I used to love that stuff. All right, KSL Drives, China's auto exports rose 63.7% in 2023, while sales at home only rose 4.2%. The surge will likely propel China past Japan as the world's #1 car exporter, and it's mostly in part to electric vehicles.
Let's get a look at your money at this moment. The futures markets are up just slightly. The Dow futures up a fraction, 6 points. S&P is up a little less than 0.2%, 8 points. And the NASDAQ futures up 65, which is 0.4.
Time this morning for Cougar Tracks. That means we check back in with KSL Sports BYU insider Mitch Harper.
BYU basketball is settling into life as a Big 12 team, but it's coming with challenges. The 0-2 Cougars are experiencing new road venues for the first time. Big 12 road venues are filled with capacity crowds and some of the toughest places to win in college basketball. Head coach Mark Pope on the challenges of playing in those Big 12 gyms.
It's not really that new. I mean, we've been playing the best team in the country, 2 or 3 times a year every year. So it's not like it's something we haven't seen. It's just the relentless nature of it. And we kind of knew that going in. And this is just a different beast for us in the sense of we have to do everything we can to make sure that we're putting our best possible product on the floor every single night.
BYU's next road game is this Saturday against UCF, a team that defeated number 3 ranked Kansas last night on its home floor. For the latest on BYU hoops, download the KSL Sports app today. With Cougar Tracks, I'm Mitch Harper on your legacy home of the BYU Cougars, KSL News Radio.
Jazz Plus is here. With Jazz Plus, you can watch games live from your TV, computer, tablet, or phone. So don't miss any of the action when you're at home or away. Can't get enough of your favorite team? Go behind the scenes and see what the team is up to on and off the court. With flexible plans, you can choose what works for you. From full season to monthly, or just pick a single game you want to watch. Sign up and subscribe today at UtahJazzPlus.com.
When you hire your local CertaPro painters, you get
the power of a cut above.
Decades of expertise to transform your home, from so-so to virtuoso.
The power of neighborhood painters.
We live where you live and probably like the same pizza place you do. Put
the power of pro
to work for you today. Get your project started at CertaPro.com.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
2 years ago, Americans watched in horror as a crisis unfolded at the Kabul airport.
She was tear-gassed and beaten.
Images of thousands desperate to escape Taliban oppression filled our news feeds. More than 80,000 Afghans made it to America. But the story didn't end there.
It was very cold. There was no power, no heat.
Who would help our newest neighbors? I'm Andrea Smartin. In Stranger Becomes Neighbor, you'll hear the stories of some remarkable refugees who left their homes and their dreams behind, only to start over from zero.
Their only possession was 3 blankets.
And you'll meet Americans who stepped up to help them.
You want me to come when you deliver your baby.
What can one person do in the face of an international disaster decades in the making? That's Stranger Becomes Neighbor. Find us at kslpodcast.com. Follow us on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen.
Visit the contest page on KSLNewsRadio.com.
This week, win $250 cash. That's right. We're giving you a chance at New Year's cash just for subscribing to our text database. Or win tickets to the Utah International Auto Expo, January 12th through the 15th at Mountain America Expo Center. See the newest cars, trucks, and EVs all in a non-selling environment. What are you waiting for?
Text the word contest to 57500 or go to KSLNewsRadio.com/contests.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Andy?
Amanda, travelers through Salt Lake County still having to deal with a crash over on North 15. A couple of different vehicles blocking the right lanes just after 90th South. Drive time through the valley right now, 35 minutes and increasing as more traffic gets on the roads. Lots of slowing along Bangerter's south end, crossing over from Riverton, Harriman over towards I-15. And then running up the west side, there are spots where it moves pretty well, but overpasses are all slippery, including the one at 7800 South in particular. Tooele County, though, surprisingly good for now from Tooele City up to Lake Point on SR 36. Len?
I-15, Legacy, and US 89 are wet but moving along okay. US 89 now, it's wet from Farmington up to I-84, but that's where it gets a little bit slick. Hospital and the spots down to join Washington Boulevard, which is also slow here. I-84 in this area looking better, but still icy at the Highway 89 ramps. Eric?
I-15 slow from Lehigh's Main Street up to Point of the Mountain in Utah County. Timpanogos Highway getting over from Highland to Lehigh also slow. And so is Redwood Road from Camp Williams up to Porter Rockwell. Geneva Road slow from I-15 up to about 700 north in Linden. Add that to the list of slow down spots too. Use Superior Water and Air for all your HVAC and plumbing needs. Call 974-9090 or visit superiorwaterandair.com. Superior Water and Air. We got this. Eric Butler, KSL Traffic Center.
We won't make the freezing mark today. The expected high 29 degrees, and right now in Salt Lake City, 23 downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 6 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
We'll have some scattered snow showers today, but then more widespread snow as we head into the weekend.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with details. Adam?
Amanda, some areas of the Wasatch Front are definitely seeing some snow coming down right now, but most of the Wasatch Front might only see a trace or dusting of snow in the grand scheme of today, except for maybe Davis and Weber counties might get an inch. But even then, National Weather Service meteorologist Sam Weber tells me most of the snow is still hours away.
I would be focused on kind of the early to mid-afternoon hours into the evening commute where we could see some of these just light scattered snow showers.
By tomorrow, we again might only see about an inch, but Saturday, Weber tells me he thinks that the Wasatch Front could get anywhere from 4 to potentially 10 inches of snow. Of course, that just depends on how the storm lines up. The mountains this weekend could get anywhere from 2 to 3 feet, maybe more in the Cottonwoods. Reporting live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
There's a new layer of snow, obviously, at Utah ski resorts. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with those totals. Michael.
Tim, it looks like every resort in northern Utah got at least a foot of snow after yesterday. 19 inches fell on Brighton and Alta, 18 on Snowbird and Solitude. Meanwhile, at Deer Valley, Park City Mountain, and Snow Basin, there's 14, 13, and 12 inches respectively. That storm has since moved south, and we're still waiting to hear how much Brian had got. We'll keep an eye on that on all of those totals throughout the morning. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
A man is dead after an avalanche inbounds at a California ski resort near Lake Tahoe, half an hour after the resort opened. This skier was there when it happened.
We were going up into the lift line, and then somebody yelled avalanche, and then they said we're shutting down right now, and we were just looking around going, what the heck happened?
Officials say the avalanche killed 66-year-old Kenneth Kidd and buried 4 other people who were rescued. Avalanches inbounds at ski resorts are rare.
Eye on the Hill 2024. Special coverage on Utah's Morning News.
One of the new bills being presented to Utah lawmakers this session would add pornographic images generated by artificial intelligence to the state's sexual exploitation statute.
Individual still shots should already be covered. It's already illegal to do computer-generated pornographic images. And so we're going through and clarifying that these will also be covered.
Representative Stephanie Gracious is supporting the bill. She wants to make sure the state has some legal guidance in case someone uses AI to create these images.
One Utah lawmaker is introducing a bill to guard online personal data.
Its sponsor, Representative Trevor Lee, says this bill, if passed, would prevent a person from being compelled to produce their personal private electronic key that would unlock any digital assets.
There's a public key that everyone can see transactions of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other coins. That's public. Everyone can see he spent 20 Bitcoin here, or he bought 10 here, or he has $10 million of Bitcoin here, it looks like, from an account. But the only way to access that account is with access to your private key, which is essentially a password you use to get in.
Lee says his bill is submitted for the upcoming session. Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour. The latest Republican presidential debate played out in Iowa just days before the state's first-in-the-nation caucuses. Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis slugged it out, mostly going after each other. ABC's Derek Dennis begins our team coverage.
Immigration, a top issue, with DeSantis touting a Trump tactic.
We will build a wall.
Haley going after DeSantis for campaign finance issues.
If you can't manage a campaign, how are you going to manage a country?
The candidates also tangling over America's support for Ukraine. Haley and DeSantis did agree on one thing, both saying Trump should have been on stage with them.
ABC News political director Rick Klein says he thinks Haley and DeSantis missed an opportunity last night.
It was striking to me, not only did they avoid Trump for large swaths of the debate, they avoided Joe Biden. They were talking about each other way more as if they are the threat, because in their theory of the case, the way that their campaigns are being run, it is a battle for second place.
He says at this stage of the campaign, he would expect to see the candidates swinging for the fences. Instead, he says they were trying to play it safe with voters who support the former president.
First look traffic, and Andy, it looks like Sandy's in the bullseye now.
Yeah, a couple of vehicles crashed and hit the wall on the right shoulder. It looks like plows still need to do some shoulder work, especially on the northbound side, but that's where the only stop-and-go traffic we have right now is. However, reduced speeds on the freeway, really from Lehigh all the way to Salt Lake City. 215s west and south belts also really slick this morning, so plan on a lot of extra travel time this morning, even though it's not actively snowing at the moment. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
The first of two important reports on inflation will be released this morning.
The Consumer Price Index, or CPI, is expected to show a slight increase in prices from November to December, but an overall drop from 2022 to 2023. It'll be followed tomorrow by the PPI, or Producer Price Index, which measures inflation at the wholesale level before it reaches consumers. Usually they move in tandem, but as we've seen over the last few years, that isn't always the case.
ABC's Daria Albinger says today's CPI report will be released around 6:30 our time.
How about that Jazz? They are on a hot streak. They beat several of the NBA's best teams over this last week. That includes a 13-point win last night over the defending champion Denver Nuggets. The Jazz have won 11 of their last 15, and they'll play the Toronto Raptors tomorrow night.
California lawmakers are trying to get rid of tackle football.
The proposed bill wouldn't get rid of football completely. It would just replace full contact football with flag football. This movement has support from the NFL as well. It's in hopes to reduce brain injuries in children. Studies show the longer someone plays tackle football, the higher the risk of brain damage. This bill would ban tackle football for anyone under 12 years old starting in 2029 and children under 6 starting in 2025. The number of children playing tackle football is already dropping. It fell 18% in 7 years. California already has bans on tackle football for high school and youth football teams during the off-season and limits the full contact sport during the preseason and regular season. New York and Illinois have tried to ban tackle football before, but they were unsuccessful. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
We've got a crash north of 90th South in Sandy, just part of a long slowdown stretch that goes from Draper to Murray. We'll check your traffic and weather together next.
Severe weather is bearing down.
Salt Lake 4 to 6, Provo and Utah Valley 7 to 10.
Stop by 2 or 3 times a day for a reliable KSL forecast. Every 10 minutes on the 9s.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
If you're on the journey of building your dream home, remodeling, or just want to brighten up some rooms, let the Blind Man be your tour guide into the possibilities 2024 has to offer. Window coverings balance functionality and aesthetics by managing light and privacy effortlessly. Whether you seek a captivating design element, enhanced privacy, light blocking solutions, or an infusion of natural light, the Blind Man's consultants are here to navigate you through the latest trends, tailoring them to complement your unique style. Motorized and automated roller shades have emerged as the preferred choice in 2024. This is driven by features such as the convenience they provide for hard-to-reach windows, providing safety for both children and pets, and contributing to energy efficiency. The Blind Man's experts would love to help you explore the options along your journey. Visit theblindman.com today to set up a free in-home consultation. Theblindman.com.
From Ogden to St. George, Utah's premier window covering provider, The Blind Man.
God, I'm so stressed. It's a brand new year and our business is busier than ever.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Offices in Midvale and Clearfield, 1412 South Legend Hills Drive, Suite 200, Clearfield, Utah, 84015. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Just got my ski report this morning from Ski Utah. Alta 15, Snow Basin 12, Solitude 16. I would guess there'll be a little avalanche control going on
For
today.
sure.
We'll take a look at those canyons coming up, but let's see what the rest of the valley looks like here at 6:09. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Back to Andy Farnsworth.
Well, right now, if you're on I-15, you got those delays coming up past the crash at just after 90th South, but reduced speeds the whole way from Draper to downtown, meaning it's a 35-minute drive through the valley at least. Coming down pretty good. From one of our listeners, the snow's still coming down in Cottonwood Heights. I am seeing extra slowdowns along 215 over on the east portion, but the west side belt not any better as far as road conditions and slowdowns. Bangerter slow the whole way through the valley, more so than usual. Len?
Wet roads in Davis-Weber County. I-15 and Legacy working fairly well with light traffic, though. In South Ogden, where Washington Boulevard or Highway 89 makes a jog to the east, it's icy and slow toward Uinta and I-84, which itself is icy with slower traffic coming in from to South Weber from Mountain Green. Eric?
More folks getting on the road in Utah County, and you got more delays. I-15 from Spanish Fork into Springville, now US 89 as you head from Spanish Fork into Springville as well, going through Mapleton. And further up the line, northbounders are going to expect to see some reduced speeds as you go on from Lehigh's Main Street past Timpanogos Highway up to Point of the Mountain. If you're on the Wasatch back, approved traction devices required for semis on US 40 going by Jordanelle Reservoir. Come find Utah's prettiest diamonds in every price range and Utah's best service at J. Brooks Jewelers in Lehigh, Murray, and online. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
After an active 24 to 48 hours, we're going to go for cloudy skies today. There is a slight chance for a snow shower. Not much in the way of accumulation. High of only 29. 21 overnight with partly cloudy skies to mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow's 34 with a chance for snow showers. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now, 24 degrees in Salt Lake City.
Coming up in a moment, we'll speak with Jim Ryan. Here's the question. After that failed lunar attempt from, that looked like a great launch, but then something failed on that attempt. How far does that set back our program to go to the moon?
And did they scrub it, or is it still on its way with just some problems?
I think that it's going out into space and we'll be there.
Oh,
it's just space junk now.
Oh, boy.
We'll talk more with Jim in a moment here on KSL.
Stay with us streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
We talk a lot about how do we make home ownership more affordable. And one of the things that's really helped me in the 20-plus years I've owned a home is that I have a partner that helps me take regular and good care of all the expensive equipment in my house. So they're not stressing and breaking down prematurely, because let's face it, if you run your furnace, your whatever into the ground, it's going to die on you faster.
Yeah.
And my equipment, I get regularly tuned up with Superior Water and Air.
And it's one thing to talk about maintenance in terms of extending the life of that equipment. It's another thing with the price of energy these days that you want to make sure it's running as efficiently as possible. That also is going to save you some money.
Oh yeah, I mean when we switched from those two big giant water heaters to one tankless water heater, so we're not heating water that nobody's using constantly.
Yeah.
That was a big savings for us.
It's one of the many things Superior Water and Air can do for you and your family. Plumbing problems, heating and air, of course, this time of year, that's top of the list for everybody. But also standby home generators that will also make sure the lights and the heat stay on should there be a power outage in your neighborhood. Call them today, 801-974-9090, or go to superiorwaterandair.com.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, savvy, staying ahead of the market at every turn, finding ways to do more with less, and taking advantage of every opportunity that comes their way. That's why Comcast Business is introducing the Small Business Bonus. For a limited time, you can get up to a $1,000 prepaid card when you switch to Comcast Business, the company with the largest, fastest, reliable network. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call or go online to learn about the $1,000 bonus today.
Give your business a head start in 2024. Get started with fast speeds and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Call or go online to switch today. Ends 2/21/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 50 megabits per second internet and security edge. EcoBill and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Prepaid card offer requires premium internet.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
Marcus, what happened?
I was changing my oil and I spilled some on the floor.
Oh, well, use these $50 bills to wipe it up.
Perfect. Got any more?
Yeah, take a couple hundred.
Stop. Instead of using money, use an old rag. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
KSL News Time, 6:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
cold temperatures are keeping some snow and ice on the roads for your drive-in. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, California lawmakers are debating if they should ban tackle football for young kids.
Third, a look at traffic and weather together.
Crashes on I-15. The one in Lehigh is now cleared, but still have the one in Sandy, although tow trucks are trying to help out with that at the moment. One of them pulling away right now, but 2 right lanes still blocked in Sandy. And according to UHP, we've already had 25 crashes this morning.
Oh, wow.
I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mainly dry today with clouds and a high of only 29. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, we do have some light snow at 23 degrees downtown at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Time for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. The last Republican debate before Monday's caucuses in Iowa saw Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis attack one another and criticize the man leading the polls, former President Donald Trump, who was not taking part in the CNN debate.
I think he was the right president at the right time. I agree with a lot of his policies, but his way is not my way. I don't have vengeance. I don't have vendettas. I don't take things personally.
The former president will be in court today in New York City for closing arguments in his civil fraud trial. ABC's Aaron Katersky's outside the courthouse.
Former President Trump wants to deliver his own closing statement today, but he never agreed to the judge's terms to stick to the facts and to avoid politics. Trump says he's going to be showing up here this morning and still would like to personally do the closing argument, but it's not clear the judge is going to let him.
There's another seismic change in the sports world as our partners at ESPN report the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick are parting ways after 24 seasons and 6 Super Bowl titles. ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter says the decision followed conversations between Belichick and team owner Robert Kraft.
And in the end, they decided that they were better off going their own ways.
This comes a day after his former assistant coach Nick Saban retired from the University of Alabama, where he won 6 national titles. Pete Carroll also stepped aside after 14 seasons with the Seattle Seahawks.
All right, let's go in depth here. America's latest mission to the moon has failed. So what happens now?
ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan joins us live. What does this do to the space program, particularly as it applies to the moon?
Well, it may delay things just a bit. And in fact, we learned yesterday that the Artemis 2 project, this NASA plan to send people eventually to the moon, the next step was to be a 10-member crew that would go around the moon, would circumnavigate, then come back to Earth without settling down into the lunar surface. Even that has been put back until next year, pushed back until, I believe, September of 2025. So it does seem to slow things down a bit, although there is another mission set for launch this coming month. Intuitive Machines, a Houston-based company, intends to launch a lander in mid-February, lunar lander aboard a SpaceX rocket. So things are still in motion, Amanda.
I'm sure all of this stuff is insured, but I can't imagine, if you have a couple of these failed launches as a private company, does it come close to putting you out of business?
Well, potentially, yes. You probably have heard about Elon Musk and SpaceX. That was one of his first big ventures, and the first rocket failed. It blew up. Second failed. Third failed. Finally, on the fourth attempt, the SpaceX rocket actually worked. Elon Musk has said that if that fourth one had failed, he would have had to close the company down. So it does, it takes a major hit. This company, Astrobotic, based in Pittsburgh, now is trying to repair its image and say, look, we're working on this issue. We've got other plans for other things. But NASA, the major contractor here, was hedging its bets, Tim. Some of the instruments and experiments that it had placed upon the Peregrine lunar lander, which now is lost in space, 4 of those have been duplicated and will go into a future lunar lander.
Maybe the one that's going up in February, or not that fast?
It could be that early. And that one, by March 1st, that one should be sitting on the moon, assuming everything goes right. But, of course, the same assumptions were made about the Peregrine lander.
All right, Jim. Thanks as always for your reporting on this one. I'll tell you what I think about is all the space junk that's already floating out there, and now this thing's going to be making its way. They say more than 25,000 objects larger than 10 centimeters are known to exist. The number of particles larger than 1 millimeter exceeds 100 million.
Oh, wow.
Floating around out there in space. At what point does it become a problem for other flights trying to get out there?
It's like that movie where the space junk hit them when they were repairing something on the space station and almost killed them.
Yeah. Lost in space. Jim Ryan, of course, joining us from Dallas this morning on the In-Depth at 15 and 45.
6:19, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Andy?
Well, right now the biggest crash, I-15, 90 is south. Just after it, traffic's backed up. That's where you come to a stop, is moving out of those right lanes. But I'm seeing reduced speeds the whole way through the Salt Lake Valley. Your drive time up to close to 40 minutes, maybe a little more than that, just because of the road conditions. 215 south end seems to be getting worse in both directions between Redwood Road and Highland Drive along that whole south portion. Bangerter Highway is also struggling, as is 126th South, crossing over between Bangerter and I-15 down in the Riverton and Bluffdale area. Len?
Well, I-15 itself in Davis County is wet, but moving pretty well. You got a slow spot of US 89 coming out of Farmington. Otherwise, further north, it's icy on I-15 near Willard Bay. Also, South Ogden, where Washington Boulevard on Highway 89 makes a turn to the east. It's icy and slow toward Uinta and I-84, which itself is slower with traffic coming out of Weber, South Weber, and heading to Mountain Green. Also snowy on SR 158 as you make your way up to Snow Basin. Eric?
Potential slick spots in Utah County and corresponding slowdowns as drivers are hesitant. Northbound I-15, you're going to have reduced speeds from Lehigh's Main Street up to Point of the Mountain. Redwood Road also slow going between the counties. As Timpanogos Highway, we've got slowdowns from Highland over to Lehigh, and it's still consistently slow in the south part of Utah County from Spanish Fork on I-15 up to the Springville area, as well as on State Street turning into US 89 between Spanish Fork, Springville, and heading up into the south part of Provo. Don't miss the amazing Utah Auto Expo, January 12th through 15th at the Mountain America Exposition Center. See the newest cars, trucks, electric vehicles, all in a non-selling environment. AutoExpoUtah.com. Eric Butler, KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has clouds in there for today. 29 the high and a slight chance for a stray snow shower. 34 tomorrow, snow showers. We go for snow and maybe some rain mixing in on Saturday, high of 37. Back to 34 with a switch over to snow showers on Sunday. Partly cloudy and cold, 27 dry on Monday. 29 on Tuesday. We go mostly cloudy with a high of 34 on Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Starting to snow ever so lightly downtown now, and 23 degrees. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Just shows you how fast it can change. I mean, we've got a text this morning, snowing in Brickyard, and then a texter tells us moderate to heavy snow in Cottonwood Heights. Right now, Wasatch Boulevard from 62nd south to Little Cottonwood is snow-packed.
I remember what Kevin told us once he was talking about that 40% chance, which is what we have today.
Yeah.
Means 4 out of 10 reporting stations will see precipitation. But if you're one of those 40,
it's 100%.
it's 100% chance.
Yeah, right. So we're getting some snow this morning for sure, and it looks like we'll get some more. The updated forecast all day long here on KSL News Radio.
The monster is coming, and it wants you and your family.
And that's great news, really, because it's time for the Bear Lake Monster Winterfest, January 26th through the 28th. Winterfest is all about an incredible celebration of winter and all the fun it brings. So start Friday with Monster Winter Sports and Trails Day, a free event featuring fat tire bikes, snowshoes, snowmobiles, and tubes for the kids. Also a taste of Bear Lake, with local restaurants dishing up their tasty specialties. Then Saturday, it's the Monster 5K Walk and Run, a Monster Cisco Disco Tournament, chili cook-off, even a cardboard boat regatta, followed by the famous Monster Plunge. Come on, Bear Lake awaits. Visit BearLakeMonsterWinterfest.com for pre-registration times and locations. That's BearLakeMonsterWinterfest.com. Presented by Bear Lake Visitors Bureau and Bear Lake Chamber.
Introducing Yes Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. We're bringing all of Utah's favorite HVAC, plumbing, and electrical brands under one roof. Call the pros at Yes and take $50 off any heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical system repair over $200. Get fast relief and $50 off any repair from Yes Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. The same great people providing the same great service that Utah has counted on for more than 45 years. Visit theyesmancan.com to schedule your appointment.
Launching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Snapchat is giving parents the option to block their teens from using the app's AI chatbot. The AI messaging feature on the app launched last April and has gotten some flack for its lack of transparency.
A new non-alcoholic version of the popular seltzer White Claw is getting bad reviews for its price tag. A 12-pack retails for about $17.50. White Claw is an alcoholic sparkling water, so the non-alcoholic version is basically just sparkling water.
The amount of renewable energy installed around the world last year grew at its fastest rate in the last 25 years. The International Energy Agency said clean energy jumped by 510 gigawatts, with China playing the biggest part. That's enough to power nearly 51 million homes for a year.
All right, let's take a look at how the futures are doing this morning. After a good day yesterday, we're back in the green this morning. The Dow up 12. It was trailing an hour or so ago. The S&P is up 7.5, closing in on 0.2%, and the Nasdaq up 64 points.
Boy, Andy told us a minute ago that Highway Patrol has already reported 25 crashes this morning.
Yeah, what does that tell you? If you're about to head out, you want to give yourself lots of time.
It's almost all of northbound I-15 from Lehigh to South Salt Lake has some sort of slowing this morning. But we'll check it. We'll go in depth. Traffic and weather together coming up next. I want you to think ahead to 6 months from now in your life. 6 months is going to go by like that, as people our age know. Time flies. So you can either be at your exact same health and feeling sluggish and heavy every day in 6 months like you might today, or you can feel drastically better by just doing one thing. And that's going online to sotaweightloss.com. SOTA stands for state of the art. I lost 34 pounds in less than 3 months. So if that's all you need to lose is 34, I shouldn't say all you need to lose, that was quite a challenge, but 34 pounds, you could be there in 3 months, and it's going to go like that no matter what. So why not do something?
Yeah, and then how much of that feeling better is just liking what you see when you stand in front of the mirror?
Some of it, for sure.
A lot for my daughter. She lost 42 pounds, and, she learned a whole new way of looking at food and what to eat, how often to eat, and the fact that she did it without going through a bunch of, strenuous exercise.
Yeah.
Tells you that this is something you can maintain. And once you get to your weight, your goal weight, you can stay on the maintenance program for as long as you want, no extra charge.
For the rest of your life if you want.
Here's a little extra oomph for the 2024 season. You can win a full year of Soda's amazing program and a $2,000 wardrobe makeover. Speaking of liking what you see in the mirror, they've got something going on this year called Soda's Shape Up Showdown.
You just email shapeup@sodaweightloss.com. That's shapeup@sodaweightloss.com.
Soda Weight Loss. It's spelled SOTA, and it stands for State of the
Art.
Weeks like this are what KSL is all about.
Moderate to heavy snow throughout the day, through the overnight.
The roads up north just getting hammered right now, including I-15.
Thicker, heavier, wetter snow than this powdery light stuff we've been getting.
Harder to shovel come the weekend. Extra reporters, emergency traffic conditions, school cancellations. Rely on KSL News Radio.
102.7 FM,
1160 AM.
And ask Alexa, play KSL News Radio.
629, traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Busy morning for you, Andy.
Yes, indeed. North 15's got delays as you go up from basically Point of the Mountain to downtown. The biggest backup right now is where they're cleaning up a crash just after 90th South. But you'll see reduced speeds all along 215. Redwood's in pretty rough shape, especially coming out of Bluffdale and then into West Jordan again. SR 201 already seeing traffic under the speed limit between Bangerter Highway and I-15 as well. Tooele County, though, not so bad on SR 36 so far. Len?
I-15 itself is working well through Davis County. The roads are wet, however, and icy on those bridges. I-15 near South Willard is icy, and the area between Legacy Parkway and I-15 and Woods Cross 500 South is very slow. Also, some slowing cropping up on northbound US 89 between Farmington and actually it's between East Layton and South Weber. Eric?
Well, we don't have any crashes reported in Utah County, but you're going to need to add some extra minutes to your travel time because of the wet roads from last night's snow. Northbound 15 from Lehigh's Main Street up to Point of the Mountain, that's still slow, as is Timpanogos Highway Mountain View corridor heading north from SR 73 up to the Redwood Road intersection. And in the south part of Utah County, northbound 15 from Benjamin up to both of the Springville exits, all that stretch, you're going to be below the normal pace. Update your kitchen with Durden's Appliance, where they meet any competitor's price. Visit Durdens.com or on Fifth South and Bountiful. Durden's, brands you know at prices you'll love. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, some of us along the Wasatch Front will get a break today, but not everybody. Some people seeing some snow already this morning. More snow tomorrow and through the weekend. Right now, it's 23 downtown.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio.
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 6:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
Active snowfall won't be a huge factor for this morning's drive, but yesterday's leftovers might be.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small joins us live with details. Adam?
Amanda, there definitely has been some scattered snow this morning. I mean, even right now here downtown, I'm starting to see some flakes fall. But KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson tells me you're not going to have to worry about a massive amount coming down.
Not much in the way of snow is expected today. We'll go cloudy skies predominantly, and maybe a couple of lingering snow showers.
Now, the main issue you're going to be seeing for the drive this morning, as you've probably already seen if you're in your car right now, is just how cold it is and how it's just making this snow just seem like it's glued to the road. I'm here downtown Salt Lake City right now where I can barely see the lines because as much as plows have gone through, as they've been going through all throughout this morning, it's just so hard for them to pick up all of this snow because it's just getting stuck to the road. And temperatures aren't really going to break the low 20s as we progress through the morning drive, so just make sure wherever you're going this morning you slow down, take it easy, don't make any herky-jerky motions with the steering wheel, and make sure you get where you're going safely. Live in Salt Lake City, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
A new law in Ogden hopes to make life easier for snowplows. KSL News Radio's Michael Commute continues on live team coverage. Michael.
Tim, that's because snowplows can't clear the whole road when they have to go around parked cars, and this led to some complaints getting filed to the city. Now, these voices were heard, so now Ogden has a new law which prohibits parking on the side of the road if there's more than an inch of snow or ice on the street. There are some exceptions, though. You should still be able to park on all state-controlled roads near properties without a driveway or other places lacking off-street options. Other cities along the Wasatch Front already follow similar rules. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
A man in Cottonwood Heights was nearly crushed by a falling tree during one of this week's snow squalls. KSL TV's Garna Mejia says 85-year-old Doug Edmonds feels pretty lucky that he's still alive.
Doug was buried under the branches of his neighbor's pine tree. He estimates it was at least 55 feet tall.
I hurt my shoulder. My shoulder's hurting a little bit, but nothing bad.
Doug says his part in this story still has a happy ending.
Had I been anywhere in that driveway, I would have been killed. So I'm one lucky character.
He sounds like a lucky character.
Yeah.
Edmonds says a high wind gust knocked the tree down as he was delivering donuts to his neighbor.
Scary. Udot's incident management team was really busy, as you might expect, last night during the storm, helping the highway patrol, get this, with 156 crashes and slide-offs. KSL TV rode along with the roadway safety specialist Tanner Thomas as he helped get some of those cars off the road after a slide-off or crash.
Every day's a different adventure, that's for sure. We can have a lot of accidents come in all at once. You think you've seen it all, and then something else happens.
So far this morning, the highway patrol says there have been 25 crashes.
KSL's top national stories this hour. Hunter Biden is expected to enter a plea deal for tax-related charges. ABC's Andrea Fujii has more.
The president's son has called the charges politically motivated. He faces 17 years in prison if convicted. It comes just one day after Hunter's high-drama appearance on Capitol Hill, surprising lawmakers, walking into a House hearing where Republicans were preparing to hold him in contempt for refusing to testify behind closed doors. Hunter Biden has long said he would answer their questions, but only in public. Hunter Biden taking a seat right in the front row, the hearing thrown into chaos. For years, Republicans have tried to tie Hunter Biden's business relations to his father, but acknowledging they have found no concrete evidence of wrongdoing.
Biden is accused of paying at least $1.4 million in federal taxes, of not paying, $1.4 million in federal taxes and taking false deductions. Former President Donald Trump will also be in court today attending the closing arguments in his New York civil fraud trial.
Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis went after each other last night in the last GOP debate before the Iowa caucuses. At the same time, the former president was just a few miles away.
Trump counter-programming the debate with a town hall on Fox News bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it. And I'm proud to have done it.
Another Republican in the race, former New Jersey Governor Christie, dropped out earlier yesterday and was caught on a hot mic criticizing Haley's chances.
She's going to get smoked, and you and I both know it. She's not up to this.
Christie did not endorse either Haley or DeSantis as he left the race, but polls show his supporters would likely get behind Haley, giving her a boost ahead of the Iowa caucuses next Monday.
ABC's Derek Dennis says political analysts say they were surprised that Haley and DeSantis did not spend more time last night talking about the former president.
First look traffic with Andy Farnsworth.
Well, Amanda, looks like they're getting close to reopening the lanes on northbound 15, or at least getting the crash cleaned up just after 90th South. That's been the biggest backup spot on the freeway because of a crash, but been crashes scattered all over the place this morning on the freeways. I-15's getting a little bit worse now northbound in Lehigh, although we had a crash there earlier. That's been cleared. And plan on your drive just to get to the freeways, especially in Salt Lake County and the northern end of Utah County, to take quite a bit of time, and then you get into the slowdowns on the main flow. So lots going on. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Researchers from the Natural History Museum and the U of U just finished up the biggest study to date on the evolution of magic mushrooms. Here's KSL News Radio's Emma Keddington.
Key researchers Bryn Dedinger and Alex Bradshaw say this study brought some major findings. One of those key findings was that the psilocybe organism existed much earlier than they thought. They tracked its existence to around 65 million years ago, right around when the dinosaurs went extinct. They also tracked the evolutionary history of the mushroom, speculating that the original purpose was to ward off snails and slugs.
The researchers say that this study lays groundwork for more research on the mushroom, primarily in its therapeutic aspects.
Other research shows children using marijuana are at a higher risk for mental disorders.
A third of children using marijuana reported hallucinations or paranoia. That's consistent with data showing children using the drug have a higher chance of developing psychosis. A psychotic episode after using marijuana was associated with a 47% chance of developing schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, according to the American Journal of Psychiatry. The risk of developing psychosis after using it is higher than amphetamines, hallucinogens, opioids, and and alcohol. The rate of diagnoses for cannabis-induced disorders were more than 50% higher at the end of last year compared to what they were in 2019. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Reduced speeds northbound I-15, Bangor, Redwood, you name it, just about everywhere along the Wasatch Front. Lots of problems. We'll check it all next.
Join us on the community's #1 resource for news and fair, enlightening talk.
Listening to Dave and Debbie talk about the Israeli conflict was not one-sided. I really appreciate that.
Listen between 9 and noon each weekday
on KSL News Radio.
Gillette Heating and Air Conditioning is offering furnace maintenance for 30% off. Call 385-GET-HEAT today to take advantage of this limited time offer. Carrier, turn to the experts.
When words come out of our mouths and everything sounds fine, no one bats an eye. But if things come out a little jumbled or letters sound different than most, there's speech therapy. But did you know that speech therapy is used for more than just stuttering or disfluency? From articulation to expressive and receptive language to a simple act of swallowing that most of us take for granted, speech therapy can do amazing things for you, your health, and of course your sense of self. That's why Summit Speech Therapy is here. Summit Speech Therapy works with people of all ages, from infants and toddlers who have a difficult time feeding or eating, TBI, stroke, or coma patients, to children and adults with speech problems. So much of it is all related, and Summit Speech Therapy can help. Summit works with all insurance companies as well as private pay options, and the experience can be life-changing. With clinics up and down the Wasatch Front, including Murray, with no long waiting for an appointment. For more, visit summitslp.com. That's summitslp.com.
We are one day closer to the opening of the legislative session. Tuesday morning, we'll actually be on the road up at the state capitol for the 2024 session, and we're keeping an eye on Capitol Hill for you throughout the day today.
6:39, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Andy?
And right now, Amanda, North 15, the crash at 90, just after 90 South, it's been blocking the right two lanes. They've got the vehicles ready to be towed away finally, but they still have the right lanes coned off. And now we're getting a report of another crash near the actual 90 South overpass, so that's in the backups. But reduced speeds the whole drive through the Salt Lake Valley on I-15 this morning. Both directions of 215 are having issues on the west belt and the south side, crossing over between Redwood and Highland Drive. And then I've also seen a lot of slowdowns on the 201 freeway from Magna through West Valley. Len?
In Davis and Weber counties, we're seeing I-84 start to ice up some more, and you've got slow driving from Peterson as you head westbound past Mountain Green all the way to South Weber. Also in Uinta, Highway 89 is sluggish as you make your way southbound toward South Weber, and a spot of slowing on US 89 toward SR 193, which itself is a little bit snowy coming off of US 89 toward the base. Eric?
Well, it's already slow northbound and southbound I-15 between American Fork and Point of the Mountain. Now you got a crash on the northbound side. This is over up against the left shoulder just past Lee Heights, Main Street, and we are seeing more slowdowns because of that in that particular spot. Redwood Road looks good for the most part out of Saratoga Springs until you get to Camp Williams, and then you're going to be in slowdown mode going up to Bluffdale and Riverton. In the south part of Utah County, you still got slowdowns on I-15 between Spanish Fork and the south end of Provo. From January 8th through the 28th, if you buy a set of 4 select tires from Big O Tires, you'll get free pizza products for a year from our friends at Papa Murphy's. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, how about cold highs in the upper 20s today? Cloudy skies and a slight chance for a stray snow shower. 21 overnight, goes to 34 tomorrow with a chance for snow showers. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Light snow in downtown Salt Lake City this hour, 24 degrees.
Well, last night, Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley did not go after former President Trump or even President Biden. They focused totally on each other. In case you missed it, we'll get a recap in just a moment here on KSL.
Right now, time for Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News. It's brought to you by the law offices of Jordan Wilcox.
Do we have a lawyer shortage? Most people would say we have too many lawyers suing over coffee that's too hot, over the length of a subway foot long. Your Honor, it's only 11 inches.
Order in the court.
That case was settled, and the only people to make money were the lawyers. $520,000 in legal fees. Lawyers go through the demanding rigors of law school, learning to argue the number of angels on the head of a pin and apparently the number of inches in a foot long. Law school is stressful. It is a grind. It is not supposed to be fun. Except law schools are now trying to sugarcoat the miserable experience with the help of Taylor Swift. The University of South Dakota Law School is now offering a course called Taylor Swift Law.
The initial idea was to focus on, her many sort of interactions with the legal system. Some of which have become pretty famous.
That's Professor Sean Kammer, who created the course, and the reaction on campus. Listen to this law school student who may someday represent you.
I am so excited. The minute I found out about it, I was so nervous about even getting into the class.
You don't want law schools exciting the students, because you know what you get? More law school applications and more lawyers. More people suing over footlongs. Or the guy who sued Red Bull because it didn't give him wings. Red Bull ended up paying the guy $640,000. So I hope for using her name, Taylor Swift sues that law school for like $22 billion. Yeah.
Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
She comes up when we talk about copyright in my media law class.
Oh, really?
Because, when you buy the right to use someone's material, there are all different kinds of things. Do you buy the right to replay it? Do you buy the right to, improvise on it, to perform it in a public place? There are all these different kinds of things.
And she beat that by going and re-recording all of her first albums.
Right, that's why she comes up, at least in media law. Anyway, this portion of the news is sponsored by the law offices of Jordan Wilcox. IRS harassing you? The law offices of Jordan Wilcox can help. Visit taxhelput.com.
Back in 2004, got a letter from the IRS indicating that I was no longer married, and therefore they were to change my filing status to single.
We were really upset.
I'm Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Listen to what actual clients have had to say about working with us.
As soon as we met Jordan and he started talking to us, number one, he made us feel like we weren't the imbeciles that the IRS had made us feel like for so many years.
I'm Jordan Wilcox. Let's solve your IRS tax nightmare.
We have reduced our tax liability by over $42,000.
Visit taxhelput.com or call 801-657-5951 to schedule your free consultation today.
We can move forward with confidence and assurance that we're okay.
That's taxhelput.com.
It's marvelous, just marvelous.
KSL News Time, 6:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
a new bill being prepared for Utah's lawmakers hopes to get ahead of artificial intelligence and deep fake pornography. I'm KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff.
Second, Ogden is the latest city cracking down on people parking on the street during or after a snowstorm.
Third, the latest on the drive here with traffic and weather together.
They'll still have right lanes blocked on I-15 just after 90 south, and a crash in the backups from that crash is making the delay extend further back towards 106th. But you're going to see reduced speeds on pretty much every road in the Salt Lake Valley this morning because of icy conditions. And now things are getting worse on I-15 in Lehigh, where we have a crash on the left shoulder near Main Street. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
29 today with clouds, but the snow returns tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 23 downtown at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
And time for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. A seismic shift in pro football as Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots have agreed to part ways after 24 seasons, during which Belichick coached the team to 6 Super Bowl titles. Adam Schefter with our partners at ESPN says,
the relationship is ending, and that will be the deal. He's leaving New England 15 wins shy of breaking Don Shula's NFL record of 347 wins as a head coach.
Today, after 7-time national champion Nick Saban retired as head coach of the University of Alabama, and Pete Carroll ended his Super Bowl winning run as coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Former President Donald Trump expected in a New York City courtroom today for closing arguments in the civil fraud trial against his businesses. He did not take part in the final Republican debate in Iowa prior to Monday's caucuses. The race, though, is getting smaller. Former New Jersey governor and Trump critic Christie ended his campaign. This is ABC News.
All right, time for the KSL In-Depth. The final debate for the GOP before the Iowa caucus had Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley mostly attacking each other rather than spending the evening attacking the frontrunner, former President Donald Trump.
We get the recap from America in the Morning's Clayton Neville.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former UN ambassador and South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley stood side by side behind their respective podiums during a GOP debate hosted by CNN. Neither candidate held back as they went after it from the start.
If you hold her accountable to her record, first she'll say, I never said that. Well, one good rule of thumb, if she says she's never said something, that definitely means she said it. And then she'll say, you're lying, you're lying. That means not only did she say it, but she's on videotape saying it.
Haley with some harsh words of her own and a plan.
So what we're going to do is rather than have him go and tell you all these lies, you can go to DeSantisLies.com and look at all of those. There's at least 24 lies that he's told about me, and you can see where fact checkers say exactly what's going to happen.
It was a theme throughout the night and a web address that Haley mentioned a lot. Between the back and forth, though, there were some dust-ups on the issues themselves, like more aid for Ukraine. Haley much more insistent on that than DeSantis. She also said that Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's recent hospitalization that wasn't reported to the White House was unacceptable. The debate came on the heels of Christie dropping out of the race, and with the Iowa caucuses just days away, Haley and DeSantis trying to convince Republicans that they're the better option to lead America compared to frontrunner and former President Donald Trump.
Market's going up, and I think the stock market's going up because I'm leading Biden in all of the polls, every single poll for the last, with states that normally are not easy to lead.
He even doubled down.
I think if I wasn't leading, the stock market would be 25% lower. And I think, frankly, if I didn't win, I think the stock market would crash.
The former president didn't attend the debate with DeSantis and Haley, of course, and was on a Fox town hall instead. He was asked about a potential vice presidential candidate if he gets the nomination.
Well, I can't tell you that, really. I mean, I know who it's going to be. Give us a hint. We'll do another show sometime.
With all eyes on Iowa, campaigning ramping up, tensions growing, and the stakes, of course, are getting higher. I'm Clayton Neville.
So we have, 4 more days to go?
4 more days until the first round.
5 if you count today.
We've got an exhausting, 10 months until election day.
We need to stay in shape.
Speaking of getting in shape for the new year, yeah.
Yeah, that's the In-Depth at 15:45.
All right, it's 6:49. Time for a look at traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Let's go back to Andy Farnsworth.
Well, that delay in Sandy getting worse as crash cleanup continues with the right lane still blocked on I-15. Just after 90 south, that traffic is bumper to bumper back to South Jordan's Sandy 106th exit. But even in spots where the traffic's not as busy as that, you're in reduced speeds because of icy conditions. 215's westbound getting worse now near 47th South. Just had a report of a crash on 21st South Freeway out at 9000 West in Magna. But you're going to see slowdowns all the way across the valley on 201 now. Len?
In Davis County, I-15 itself is working well through Davis County. The roads are wet and a little icy in some places, but the traffic is working well. Now, north of Ogden, near South Willard, you've got some icy roads you can see in the cameras. Also, South Ogden, where Washington Boulevard or Highway 89 sort of makes a turn to the east. It's icy and slow toward Uinta and I-84, which itself is icy, and slower all the way from Mountain Green over to South Weber. And it's snowing with ice in Sardine Canyon. Be careful between Brigham City and Logan. Eric?
You got generally reduced speeds northbound I-15 from the south part of Spanish Fork almost all the way to the S-curves now if you're going up through Provo, and then you got a little bit of a respite there if you're northbound 15 Utah County, but then starting around the Pioneer Crossing exit, you're going to be in slow down mode again, and it's going to be as slow as going by a crash just north of Lehigh's Main Street. That's over on the left shoulder. Expect to be in delayed mode all the way up to Salt Lake County, Provo Canyon, slow spots there heading through the mountains, and right now I-80 starting to see slowing again through Parley's Canyon. Start your dream kitchen or bath today at Bedrock Quartz, where it's only 7 days from template to installation. Visit New Murray or Spanish Fork showrooms or bedrockquartz.com. bedrockquartz.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast goes for highs in the upper 20s today, cloudy skies, and a slight chance for a snow shower. 34 tomorrow, snow showers possible. Working into Saturday, that looks like the brunt of our next event. 37 the high, snow potentially switching to rain. We'll go 34 as snow showers on Sunday. 27, partly cloudy for your Monday, dry. Overnight low into Tuesday morning, 9 degrees. Daytime high Tuesday, 29, partly cloudy. mostly cloudy on your Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now we have 23 degrees downtown, and the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Looks like the Consumer Price Index numbers are in and actually went up 0.3% in December. That's the biggest gain in 3 months. Market's starting to react to that number. We'll get a look at where they're headed with futures numbers and the rest of your money news headlines next.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. A little experiment here that you can try in your home just for fun. Take 2 water heaters, run hard water through one and soft water through the other, then count how many years each one lasts. Now, of course, I can save you all that trouble because the experiment takes place every day in countless homes right here in the state of Utah. The result's always the same. Hard water makes water heaters and other appliances conk out years before they should. And that's why when Dee and I build our new home, I informed the builder that we'd have Connecticut put in our soft water. I just won't settle for anything else. With Connecticut, you'll use 2/3 less salt. All the mechanical design makes it virtually maintenance-free. And I'll tell you what, your water heater and other appliances will last years longer. All you have to do is contact my friends at Connecticut of Utah, an authorized Connecticut dealer. To learn more, call Connecticut. It's 801-576-8600 or log on to softwaterutah.com.
The Movie Show is at Minky Couture in Layton this Friday, January 12th from 10 to 1. Join KSL News Radio and Minky Couture and get special discounts and savings on your favorite Minky Couture products. And while you're at Minky Couture, check out all the ways to stay cozy and warm during these cold months, including the new Everywhere blanket. Join us this Friday at Minky Couture in Layton, 1782 Woodland Park Drive, minkycouture.com. Minky Couture, the best gift ever.
A stranger with a gun came upon 2 teens taking pictures under a rising full moon. But violence is only the beginning of this story.
Sometimes I thought, there are no miracles. Yeah, there are, and this is a big one.
I'm Amy Donaldson, and I've spent my career talking about how lives are undone by violence. The Letter is a podcast about how lives are remade. Follow The Letter at theletterpodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Video game streaming platform Twitch is laying off more than 500 employees. CEO Dan Clancy says they're cutting costs and becoming more efficient. The company was purchased by Amazon almost 10 years ago. It's not the only department, by the way, cutting employees.
The layoffs continue with Google. Hundreds of employees working on its hardware, voice assistants, and engineering teams were laid off as part of cost-cutting measures. The cuts follow pledges by executives of Google and its parent company Alphabet to reduce costs.
Cryptocurrencies are hitting the stock market. The Securities and Exchange Commission approved trading of the first exchange-traded funds that hold Bitcoin. They're an easy way to invest in a group of assets like gold, junk bonds, or bitcoins without having to buy the actual assets themselves. The agency, however, says it's still deeply skeptical about cryptocurrency.
Let's see what's going on with the futures markets. They're mixed right now. The Dow futures are off less than 0.1%. Well, it's just 0.1%, down 37 points. S&P is off 3.7. That's less than 0.1%. And the Nasdaq up 5.5, which is just a fraction.
It is a slow roll out there. Slippery I-15 northbound through Sandy. One of the several spots that's seeing those kinds of problems this morning. Give yourself lots of time as you head out this morning. We'll check traffic and weather together next.
If you've ever set New Year's resolutions before, you know how difficult it is to follow through because you have to wait to see the results. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and in honor of your New Year, New You resolutions, Any Hour Services is having our New Year, New System sale. From now until the end of February, Any Hour Services will give you $2,024 off a new furnace and air conditioner, and you don't have to wait to save the money. You get $2,024 off at the time of purchase. The only thing you have to do to qualify for our New Year, New System sale is call Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate. When you call, there's no obligation to buy. Just schedule a time to meet that works best for you. Let me say that again. From now until the end of February, when you have Any Hour Services install a new furnace and air conditioner, we'll give you $2,024 off. Call Any Hour Services right now and schedule a free estimate. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At KSL News Radio, we have a 30-year legacy of honoring Utah teachers, but we can't do it without your help. Please tell us about an important teacher in your life on the KSL Teacher Tribute Wall, presented by Cypress Credit Union. Each month, one lucky teacher wins a $500 gift card from Cypress Credit Union, a $250 gift card to Harmon's, plus season tickets to Hale Center Theater. Say thanks to your teacher today at kslnewsradio.com/teacher from Cypress Credit Union and KSL News Radio. 6:59, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with DinoPay. Andy?
Amanda, traffic on I-15 delays are stacking up even worse now. They've been slow all morning where we've got a crash blocking 2 lanes right after 90 is south, but the delays now are really, really getting rough. In fact, it might take you 30 minutes just to get from Draper to Sandy, the way the things are shaping up. It's not much better. Once you get past it, at least the delays are a little better, but the road conditions don't improve at all. 215 still struggling on the south and west belts, and 201 now seeing delays in both directions for traffic between 56 West and Redwood Road. Len?
Making your way, looks like coming out of downtown Salt Lake City, northbound I-15, a little bit slow toward Warm Springs, 2300 North Warm Springs Road. Otherwise, I-15 itself working pretty good in Davis County. Legacy Parkway is pretty good. The north end of the I-215, a little bit of slowing northbound in Rose Park, and that intersection there with I-80, where earlier there was a rollover, is still pretty busy and icy. Further up here at I-84 and Weber Canyon is snowy and slick mountain green over to South Weber and continues on Highway 89 as you go into South Ogden. Eric?
Slow downs I-15 in Utah County from Spanish Fork up into Provo University Avenue. Also slow because of the wet roads. And further up the line, Orem into Linden, and from Lehigh all the way to Point of the Mountain, you've got slowing, as well as on Timpanogos Highway if you're westbound out of Highland, Cedar Hills, or Alpine going over to the freeway. When you choose Performance Automotive and Bountiful, you're choosing convenience with Ford dealers inventory. Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, Performance Toyota, and Truck Country all in one place. PerformanceBountiful.com. Eric Butler on the KSL Traffic Center.
We're only going to reach a high today of 29 degrees, and we're not far from it. 23 in Salt Lake City.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 7 o'clock on Utah's Morning News. Good morning. I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story on the 7 o'clock report.
Snow's coming down again this morning in several spots along the Wasatch, and it's making for a very slow commute.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small is out on the roads and begins our live team coverage. Adam?
Amanda, the snow has definitely taken a turn that we were not fully expecting this morning, because in terms of accumulations, we're really only looking at about an inch or so in some parts of the valleys. But right now, at least around Salt Lake, it is really coming down. I've definitely seen it harder, but it's definitely making an impact on the commute. I've been driving around I-15 around Salt Lake County, and the snow itself is having an impact, but you also, as we've been talking about this morning, the cold temperatures, having yesterday's leftovers stuck to the road in a lot of spots is making an impact as well. I was able to hover at about 50, 60 miles an hour, but obviously that might not even be safe for some people, especially if you're not experienced driving in this kind of weather. And of course, crashes in other areas are making it worse. So as the usual message that we have on the days like this, slow down, don't do anything ridiculous with the steering wheel, and make sure that you are taking it easy, trying to stay in the lanes and trying to take a little extra time getting in safely rather than doing anything to try to cut some time, because today is not looking like a drive that you're going to want to try anything to get to work a little quicker than you might normally. Reporting live near the downtown ramps of I-15, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Snow removal tools are flying off the shelves at local hardware stores. Cottonwood Heights Ace Hardware store owner John Harris says he sold out of shovels, snow blowers, and ice melt. But there's other important equipment, too.
Ice scraper for your windshield. How about windshield wash for your car? Antifreeze, jumper cables.
Harris says it's important to be prepared.
Last night's storm dropped a good amount of snow on Utah's resorts. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit continues our team coverage. Michael?
Amanda, it's really gone down in the mountains over the past 24 hours, and every big resort is pushing at a foot or more of fresh snow. Right now, Alta reports getting 15 inches of snow, and Brighton's looking at 13 new inches. 12 and 11 inches fell at Snow Basin and Snowbird, respectively, and down in Brian Head, they're looking at 8 inches. We'll be certain to keep these totals updated when more snow decides to fall. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
The first U.S. avalanche death of the season happened yesterday at a California ski resort near Lake Tahoe. Officials say 66-year-old Kenneth Kidd died, and 3 others were buried by the wall of moving snow. Skier Marcus Franklin says he immediately jumped into action.
We attempted to organize like a grid search where you kind of move through the avalanche debris field, striking the snow, hoping to hit a body.
A major winter storm fueled the avalanche with wind gusts around 100 miles an hour.
Avalanche danger is going up in our own mountains. Alta Ski Communications Manager Andrea Huskinson tells KSL TV there could be more road closures for avalanche control.
I think this weekend we might see some more of it. It just depends like what the wind does. The winds were blowing really hard last night. That affects it. You know, snow, moisture, the moisture content in the snow.
She says when the winds really pick up, they sometimes have to delay opening some lifts for safety reasons.
The Utah Highway Patrol says they responded to 156 crashes and slide-offs during last night's snow squall. This morning, they're already responding or have already responded to 25 crashes. We'll have a check on how those crashes are impacting the commute coming up in just a few minutes.
In fact, let's do that now with First Look Traffic on the 7 o'clock report. Here's Andy Farnsworth.
Yeah, we're getting to emergency traffic level now. This crash at 90th South just hasn't been cleared up. It's been there for most of the morning, and nothing's changed with delays. In fact, the delays are worse now from Draper to Sandy. Might take you 30 minutes just through that stretch alone, but you're going to see reduced speeds throughout the entire Salt Lake Valley. It's getting worse now in longer stretches of I-15 in Utah County, and it looks like the snow's in picked up intensity and now affecting drivers in Tooele County, Stansbury Park, and Lake Point in particular. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
On now to our top national stories this hour. The latest GOP debate played out last night on CNN, just days before the Iowa caucuses. Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis slugged it out.
Right from the start of last night's feisty debate in Des Moines, Iowa, the gloves between Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley were off.
We don't need another mealy-mouthed politician who just tells you what she thinks you want to hear.
Every time he lies, Drake University, don't turn this into a drinking game because you will be overserved by the end of the night.
Both candidates trying to prove they're the best alternative to former President Trump, the frontrunner in the GOP primary.
ABC's Derek Dennis says that former President Trump opted to skip the debate, instead holding a town hall just a few miles away on Fox News at the same time.
After that town hall, former President Trump spoke with reporters and was asked about recent polling.
President Trump, are you worried about Nikki Haley gaining on you in New Hampshire?
Not even a little bit. She doesn't have a chance.
He then said he isn't worried about the other candidates, saying he's leading by record numbers.
ABC News political director Rick Klein says he isn't sure last night's debate between Haley and DeSantis moved the needle for many voters.
This was a small ball debate at a time that you'd typically be swinging for the fences. And the result is that they were basically playing it safe, playing it for second place. I think if they wanted to, or if they were seeking still to beat Donald Trump head to head, if they thought that was possible in Iowa, then I think they would have been handling this quite a bit differently.
Klein says he was surprised the candidates didn't spend more time going after former President Trump or President Biden.
Eye on the Hill 2024. Special coverage on Utah's Morning News.
A Utah lawmaker says protecting personal data online is more important than ever. KSL News Radio's Mark Jackson begins our team coverage Eye on the Hill 2024.
If passed, the bill would protect people from being compelled to produce their personal private electronic keys to their personal digital assets and cyber wallets.
You have all of your cryptocurrency stored on
a ledger or in some type what you would call a bank account. And the only way to get into that account is with your private key.
Bill sponsor Representative Trevor Lee says this is different from a public key where everyone can see crypto transactions, but these private keys are the only way to access cyber accounts. Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
Another bill lawmakers will consider this session targets using AI to exploit people. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff continues our team coverage. Eye on the Hill 2024.
House Bill 148 would add pornographic images generated by artificial intelligence to Utah's existing statute.
Right now, deep fake images are already illegal in the state of Utah. This just goes in and clarifies that with the advancements in technology, this is also going to include videos and images that are built using artificial intelligence.
Representative Stephanie Grisha says this bill is an attempt to stay ahead of technology and to make sure the state has the legal tools it needs to deal with these created images. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Iran has confirmed that its forces seized an oil tanker in the Gulf of Oman today. A state-run Iranian news agency says their navy took control of the vessel as the result of a judicial order.
Well, that'll be something to keep an eye on. The federal government announcing a $623 million grant to help states support electric vehicles.
The Transportation Department is awarding $623 million to states to build charging stations and other new infrastructure to support electric vehicles. Officials say much of the focus will be on building chargers in rural and lower-income communities, including local libraries. White House officials tell reporters that since President Biden took office 3 years ago, the number of electric vehicle models available to consumers has doubled. Ann Flaherty, ABC News, Washington.
Higher rents and food prices boosted U.S. inflation numbers in December. It's a sign the Federal Reserve's drive to slow inflation to its 2% target will likely remain a bumpy one. Overall prices rose 0.3% from November and 3.4% from a year ago.
Of course, the markets always look at it on what it means to those Fed interest rates, and the markets immediately turn negative. We're down about 74 right now on the Dow. It's almost tax season, and the IRS says they're already playing catch-up.
A report by an independent IRS watchdog says the agency is still overburdened when it comes to most of its functions as we head into tax season. It says the backlog of unprocessed and amended returns has quadrupled from 2019 to almost 2 million late last year. It also finds major delays in answering taxpayer phone calls and resolving identity theft cases.
ABC's Daria Albinger says we can start filing our taxes on January 29th. 7:09, traffic and weather together is again brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with DinoPay. Andy Farnsworth back in the traffic center.
Yeah, it's emergency traffic. The way trying to get through the middle of the valley right now is very difficult with a crash. Couple of crashes around 90th South. The one that's the big problem is the two-lane blocker just after 90th. Traffic backed at a stop all the way into Draper now to Bangerter's south end, trying to go from Redwood over to I-15 down into the river bottom. Really slick for eastbound traffic. Even Mountain View's struggling both directions through Daybreak and again in West Valley. Bangerter already backed up well more than normal. And if you're on 215's west side near the Valley Fair Mall, 3500 South, it's pretty slick and backed up all the way to the 201 freeway. Len?
And it's getting slower in South Ogden on Highway 89 where it curves towards I-84. It's also icy on I-84 toward Mountain Green. I-15 itself is working pretty well in Davis County all the way up to Ogden, actually. Once you're on some of these roads heading up to the mountains, though, you've got snowy conditions to deal with. Eric?
We got a northbound crash north of Spanish Forks Highway 6 exit. So basically the midway point between Spanish Fork and Springfield. But that's not adding to the delays. So we already had slowdowns going through that stretch up into Provo and pretty much all the way to the S-curves. You're going to be in slow down mode. Then you got another spot of northbound slowing from Orem to Linden, and then yet another longer one from American Fork through Lehigh all the way to Point of the Mountain. That's all because of the road conditions. And US 189 through Provo Canyon, not so good as well. You've got slick spots if you're trying to get out to Heber City. Don't let tax problems ruin your life. Let Utah Tax Attorney Jordan Wilcox handle the IRS so you don't have to. Visit taxhelput.com. That's taxhelput.com. Eric Butler, KSL Traffic Center.
KSL hourly forecast. We do have cold temperatures at 7 a.m. in the low 20s, leftover snow on the roadways, and a couple of snow showers lingering. By the lunch hour, we're going to the low to mid 20s, cloudy skies. Into the afternoon, 29 for a high. Couple of snow showers possible today, but predominantly dry and cloudy. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
23 now in Salt Lake City.
It's the end of an era in both college and pro football. We'll have an in-depth report coming up on KSL.
Let's stick with sports here for just a second. The Jazz, suddenly one of the hottest teams in the NBA. They've won 8 of their last 10. There's only 2 other teams in the NBA that are doing that well right now. Beating several of the league's top teams over the last week. The winning continued late last night with a win over the Denver Nuggets.
Kessler pulls it out with 4. Hands to Clarkson with 2 on the shot clock. Drives, floats it. He's learning to fly! Utah by 22!
That's David Locke on the KSL Sports Zone. By the way, you know who leads the Western Conference right now?
Who's that?
I would have never guessed it. Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
Rudy and the Minnesota Timberwolves, best record in the Western Conference right now.
Remember how afraid we were of this road trip? And now this road trip is turned out to be great. We are seeing all kinds of coaching changes being made in both professional and college football. Yesterday, it was Nick Saban retiring from Alabama and Pete Carroll being shown the door by the Seattle Seahawks. This morning, ESPN is reporting Bill Belichick is parting ways with the New England Patriots. Belichick has been a part of the Patriots for 24 years, where he won 6 Super Bowl titles. We'll have more on these coaching changes coming up in just a couple of minutes on the KSL In-Depth.
California lawmakers trying to ban youth tackle football.
Lawmakers say the ban will reduce brain injuries. Studies show that the longer a person plays tackle football, the higher the risk of brain damage. The bill focuses on children 12 and under. If passed, it would ban children under 6 from playing starting in 2025 and children under 12 in 2029. The lawmakers say participation has already been declining. It fell more than 18% from 2015 to 2022. California law already bans full contact practices for high school and youth football teams during the off-season and limits practices during the preseason and regular season. No state has been able to ban tackle football so far, but New York and Illinois have tried. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Trending this hour on the 7 o'clock report. Taylor Swift obviously dominated the charts last year, and the numbers prove it. 1 in 78 songs streamed in the U.S. was a Taylor Swift song. According to entertainment data from Luminate, the pop star also did well at the box office. Her movie, Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, raked in $180 million just domestically.
You know how many streams there were last year, music streams in 2023? 4.1 trillion.
Oh, wow.
I'd say that's the way we get our music these days.
For sure.
Selena Gomez is going to be playing legendary singer Linda Ronstadt in her upcoming biopic. Ronstadt has 11 Grammys for her rock, country, folk, and Latin music.
Oh, she'd be perfect to play Linda Ronstadt.
She will, yeah. And the Florida legislature has renamed a highway after Jimmy Buffett. State Road A1A, which winds along Florida's Atlantic coast, will be named Jimmy Buffett Memorial Highway.
Oh, wow.
A1A also was the title of a Buffett album. I think they're also doing license plates.
With Jimmy Buffett?
To honor him.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, KSL News Time, 7:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
we've got more snow this morning and leftover patches of snow from yesterday causing a lot of problems on the road this morning. I'm KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson.
Second, a proposed bill here in Utah would crack down on people who use AI to generate sexually explicit images to exploit others.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
I-15 still a mess. Draper to Sandy from a couple of crashes that are affecting you near 90th South. Icy conditions slowing you everywhere else in the valley, but that's the biggest concentration of stop-and-go delays is from Draper to 90th South on northbound 15. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mainly dry today with clouds and a high of only 29. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, 23 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
And time for our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. The latest numbers show that inflation was up slightly last month.
The latest government data shows the consumer price index for December rose 0.3% compared to an expected 0.2%. And looking at all of 2023, prices rose 3.9% compared to 3.8% that analysts had projected. While today's numbers still show inflation easing long-term, the trajectory toward the Federal Reserve's targeted 2% inflation will not be an easy one.
And ABC's Dave Packer says that could push back for expected rate cuts from the Federal Reserve. The economy will be a major topic in the election. Republicans vying for the nomination addressed the economy in the last debate ahead of Monday's caucuses in Iowa. In the CNN debate, Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis got a bit personal.
If leadership's about getting things done, how did you blow through $150 million in your campaign and you were down in the polls?
So here's
you are not a manager. No, now I'm going to say.
I think it's very instructive about how Nikki Haley sees the world.
Former President Trump did not take part in that debate. He's expected in a New York City courtroom today for closing arguments in the civil fraud trial against his businesses. It's not clear if he will speak in court, says ABC's Aaron Katersky.
The judge gave Trump a deadline to agree to speak only about the relevant material facts that are in evidence and not to make a campaign speech or impugn the judge, his staff, or the court. The defense called those limitations very unfair and fraught with ambiguities. But in a heated response, the judge said, take it or leave it, now or never. Trump never responded, so the judge said he's assuming Trump will not be speaking.
That judge also received a bomb threat at his New York home. It's been another seismic shift in the world of football. The day after stalwarts Nick Saban and Pete Carroll left their coaching jobs, Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots are parting ways after 24 seasons and 6 Super Bowl titles. You're listening to ABC News.
Matter of fact, let's go in depth on that. The coaching carousel seems to be in high gear this week.
ABC's Will Reeves starts out talking about Nick Saban, who says it's time to hand up his whistle.
What a monumental day of coaching moves in football. The biggest headline is Nick Saban, quite likely the greatest college football coach of all time, announcing his retirement after 17 years, leading Alabama to historic dominance. 6 national championships with the Crimson Tide. He got 1 with LSU. So many other accolades. Not to be the fly in the ointment, but Saban did lose what turned out to be his final game, that Rose Bowl thriller against Michigan, who went on to become the national champs just a few days ago. They're led for now by Jim Harbaugh, who became just the second person to coach in a national title game and a Super Bowl in the modern bowl era. There's talk that he may return to the NFL because there's lots of job openings, including the job of Pete Carroll, the other one on that 2-person list with Harbaugh. Shockingly, he's no longer the coach of the Seattle Seahawks, the team calling it an amicable agreement, as they've offered Carroll, who's won a Super Bowl and 2 national titles, a role in the front office.
Want to hear a crazy stat on Saban?
Yeah.
28 years as a head coach in college football, never a losing season. Toledo, Michigan State, LSU, and Alabama.
Wow.
And here's his college record, 292 wins with 71 losses.
He's 72 years old.
Yeah.
But Bill Belichick is 71 years old.
Yeah, and the brand new coaching news that came a short time ago is that Belichick and the New England Patriots are parting ways after 24 seasons together.
Wow.
He's a record setter, too. He won 6 Super Bowl titles. Belichick and the Patriots owner Robert Kraft spent a good part of the week periodically meeting and discussing how each side wanted to proceed, according to ESPN. I would think that Belichick will be back somewhere on the sidelines.
You don't think he's done coaching?
No.
Because he and Tom Brady were just such a magical duo that, it's hard to create lightning in a jar again.
And you realize how much of that equation was Tom Brady.
Yeah, right.
Afterwards, yeah. That is the in-depth this morning at 15:45.
7:19, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with DinoPay. Andy?
Amanda, those delays, I-15 still jammed from 123rd south to 90th south. That's the biggest stop-and-go portion of delays. But we've got slowing on all the roads, including freeways, city streets approaching the freeway. Some other rough spots, Bangor through South Jordan and now through West Valley going north. 215's got some issues. It's slow the whole stretch of the West Belt, but it comes to a halt, especially in the right lanes near the 21st South Freeway transition. And then coming out of Tooele County, it's not snowing, but slick conditions have you really slow SR36 from Erta now all the way on to I-80. Len?
In Weber and Davis counties, I-15's working well, Ogden to Salt Lake City, as well as Legacy and US 89 between Farmington and I-84. But north of here on US 89, slow and dicey in South Ogden towards South Weber and I-84. Trappers Loop and SR 158 getting snow, and it's snowy already up there towards Snow Basin, where you're going to do some skiing. Also snowing with ice in Sardine Canyon between Brigham City and Logan. Eric?
Speaking of snow, you got it at the top of Parley Summit for I-80 travelers. That means slow down eastbound and westbound from Lambs Canyon over to Jeremy Ranch and getting into Park City from US 40. You got slowing there as well, though that's more of the usual variety. Down Utah County, expect reduced speeds northbound from Spanish Fork to Provo and to University Parkway in Orem, and then another long stretch between Linden and Pleasant Grove, and yet another one from Lehigh's Main Street up to the point of the mountain. That's probably going to be your slowest stretch right there for northbounders heading up towards 2100 north in Lehigh. Don't miss the amazing Utah Auto Expo, January 12th through 15th at the Mountain America Exposition Center. See the newest cars, trucks, electric vehicles, all in a non-selling environment. AutoExpoUtah.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has clouds in there for today. 29 the high and a slight chance for a stray snow shower. 34 tomorrow, snow showers. We go for snow and maybe some rain mixing in on Saturday, high of 37. Back to 34 with a switch over to snow showers on Sunday. Partly cloudy and cold, 27 dry on Monday, 29 on Tuesday. We go mostly cloudy with a high of 34 on Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
By the way, the overnight low by Tuesday, 9 in Salt Lake City, so the 23 we have now doesn't sound so bad. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
I was just looking at the hourly forecast on KSL.
Yeah.
And it looks like the chance of snow increases this afternoon around 1 p.m. and stays higher through 7 p.m. So even though we're getting some this morning, it's going to be
afternoon drive again.
Another afternoon drive special. So make sure as you're headed back home this afternoon, when you hop in the car, just join us for a second, and we'll tell you where any of the crashes are to steer around. It could save you a half hour or more in time and let you know where the snow is the worst. We always appreciate your texts, too, by the way, Tim. We should let people know when they have a chance to do it safely. It's nice to know where the snow's coming down.
Yeah. Jeff Kaplan, by the way, will be captaining that ship to get you home safely starting at 3 o'clock here on KSL, where the news time is 7:23.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. For over 30 years, Best Friends Animal Society has been working to save the lives of cats and dogs all across America and giving pets second chances and happy homes. CEO Julie Castle joins us with more.
For more than 150 years in America, sheltered dogs and cats have been killed for simply not having a safe place to call home. But it doesn't have to be this way. Since its founding in 1984, Best Friends Animal Society has worked with shelters, rescues, and communities all over the country to reduce the killing from 17 million to 378,000 a year. This has been done through collaboration between public and private agencies, as well as innovative programming that helps the most at-risk dogs and cats. Best Friends is dedicated to making America a no-kill country by 2025. And we are so close to reaching this milestone. Every animal lover can help by fostering, adopting, donating, volunteering, or simply sharing about homeless pets in your community on social media. By working together, we will save them all. To learn more about how to save lives in your community, visit bestfriends.org.
Many shelters across the country are short-staffed and well over capacity, but you can make a difference. Help save the lives of animals across the country by adopting from a local shelter or rescue organization. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Do you ever feel like getting your supplies for your CPAP is just a huge headache? Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. We'll say goodbye to the hassle and hello to a stress-free life with our CPAP resupply service. Signing up is a breeze. Just place a call, choose your products, and leave the insurance billing and shipping to us. Our discreet packaging prioritizes your privacy, and we always ensure an on-time delivery. No more trips to the store or worrying about running out of important supplies. We get how crucial your CPAP therapy is, so don't let the stress of keeping up with it affect your sleep and health. Join Alpine Resupply today and enjoy a tranquil night's sleep with all your CPAP essentials. Visit us at alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. China's auto exports rose 63.7% in 2023, while sales at home only rose 4.2%. The surge will likely propel China past Japan as the world's #1 car exporter. It's mostly in part to electric vehicles.
Netflix ad-supported tier is doing really well. It hit more than 23 million monthly users, and it's much cheaper, obviously, than the ad-free version, sitting at $6.99 a month.
Say goodbye to fruit stripe gum.
Oh.
The CEO decided to discontinue it after looking at consumer preferences, purchasing patterns, and brand trends. The decades-old gum came in 5 flavors and included a temporary tattoo of the mascot, Yipes the zebra.
I used to love that stuff when I was a kid. Futures markets reacting to those consumer price index numbers this morning that were a little bit hotter than Wall Street expected. So the Dow turned down. It's only off 21, however. The S&P is off just a point. The NASDAQ still standing in the green. It's up 16.
Man, it's going to take patience for you on the commute this morning, I'm sorry to say, especially northbound I-15 drivers in Salt Lake County. Big delays from Draper through Sandy. We'll check that and the rest of your commute just ahead.
We're just talking about consumer price numbers that came out just within the last hour or so, and how food makes that list that's helping to push that inflation back up again. That's not the case if you're going to do your shopping, and you've learned this, of course, by shopping at NPS.
I started shopping at NPS about a year ago, and it was, I was just drowning under my grocery bills. I thought, I can't keep this up. What do I do? And then we found out about NPS, which I think of as a nice place to save.
Yeah.
And I started doing my grocery shopping there, and I'd fill a whole cart. And what was normally like $200 would be $50. And I'd think, how is this possible? But that's what they do. They mark everything down 30 to 70%.
And here's what NPS does. They acquire inventory, overstock, unclaimed, refused shipments, and then they will price check it for, what everybody else sells it for, and then mark it down 30 to 70%. But when they have things, like clothing accessories, bags, and backpacks that are sitting on the shelf and taking up space knowing they have another shipment coming, they'll mark it down another 50%.
Yeah, like they did with mattresses and mattress pads and area rugs, 50% off on top of the 30 to 70% off.
Find out how they can help you save money on everything. Go to NPS. 4 locations, 2 in Salt Lake, 1 in Orem, 1 in Layton.
Dave and Udot. We've seen snow yesterday, today, and we expect it tomorrow. How the snow and below freezing temperatures have led to more than 24 crashes just this morning, and why it's been so difficult to dry up these roads. Today on Dave and Dujanovic.
Weeks like this are what KSL is all about.
Moderate to heavy snow throughout the day, through the overnight.
The roads up north just getting hammered right now, including I-15.
Thicker, heavier, wetter snow than this powdery light stuff we've been getting.
Harder to shovel come the weekend. Extra reporters, emergency traffic conditions, school cancellations. Rely on KSL News Radio.
102.7 FM.
1160 AM.
And ask Alexa, play KSL News Radio.
It's emergency traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Where are you going to start, Andy?
Well, we've got this crash at 90th South. It's taken them 2 hours to clean up, and they still haven't quite got the lanes open, northbound just after 90th South. The delays from the crash have, and the snowy conditions, of course. Bumper-to-bumper traffic stretches back to Bangerter Highway, but even after you pass the crash, you're not going to get to the full speed limit because of road conditions this morning. 215, it could take what would normally just take a few minutes. It could take double that to cross over from the east side to the west side. Bangerter, Mountain View, 56 West, all stacking up as you head north through West Valley now as well. Len?
In Weber and Davis counties, I-15, although wet, has seen drivers with decent pacing and spacing. Ogden to the downtown Salt Lake City ramps, but in South Ogden, US 89 slow from Ogden Regional to I-84, which again, I-84 itself is icy and slow Mountain Green over to South Weber. If you're heading up into the mountains, Trappers Loop, it's snowing up there as Ogden Canyon looks pretty good right now, but be aware of icy fringes. Eric?
We've got wet conditions since potentially slippery conditions continuing as leading to slowdowns in Utah County. I-15 northbound from Payson up to the S-curve between Provo and Orem. And then another other stretch that's threatening to become one long stretch between Linden and Point of the Mountain. The slowest spot will be just after 2100 North going by Timpanogos Highway up to the Point. Redwood Road also slowed going by Camp Williams because of the road conditions. Update your kitchen with Durden's Appliance, where they meet any competitor's price. Visit Durdens.com or on 5th South and Bountiful. Durden's, brands you know at prices you'll love. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
We've got more snow coming this afternoon. In fact, not just this afternoon, but tomorrow and through the weekend as well. So brace yourself, everybody. Right now, it's 23 degrees downtown.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio.
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 7:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
Cold temperatures and more snow falling this morning, making those roads a mess for the morning commute.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small has been out driving around to check the conditions and begins our live team coverage. Adam?
Amanda, a scattered snow shower has definitely made the morning drive a little more difficult than we already thought it would be. I've been driving between about Salt Lake and maybe about Murray, and it has definitely been difficult on both sides of the freeway because, for one, you have the active snowfall right now, but then on the other hand, it's just so cold that some leftovers from yesterday's storms are also sticking on the road. It's been slick all morning because of those cold temperatures. I'm not expected to break out of the low 20s as we make it through our drive. I haven't seen a lot of crashes on the north end of the Salt Lake Valley, but it's definitely forcing people to go slower. This time around, I actually had to go even slower than the last pass. I was going about 40, 50 miles an hour, and then when you add morning congestion to that, it's just getting a little bit more difficult. So definitely plan to take a few extra minutes today. Don't try to rush into work. If you're going to be late, just be late. Today's not the day you want to try to do anything drastic because the road conditions are not on the side of safety if you lean that way. Live along the I-15 corridor in Salt Lake County, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
A new law in Ogden is designed to make plowing those roads easier. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit continues our live team coverage. Michael?
Tim, this new law prohibits on-street parking when snow removal seems imminent or when more than an inch of snow or ice is on the road. You see, snowplows can't cover a whole street if someone's parked their car on the side. Laws like this exist in other cities already. In Ogden, there will be exemptions. Looks like you'll still be able to park on state roads, streets with no driveways, or roads otherwise designated for not having adequate off-street parking. There are concerns about enforcement, but city officials say this is about getting the roads cleared, not making it difficult for residents. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Udot's snowplow teams were definitely busy last night, as were their incident management teams. Tanner Thomas is one of Udot's safety specialists who drives around and helps people stuck on the side of the road. KSL TV rode along with him last night as he helped as many people as he could.
He hit the wall and his front passenger. Good snow tires and all that in the winter season, they can prevent a lot of accidents.
He says his main priority is to help everyone get home at the end of the day. The Utah Highway Patrol says they responded to 156 crashes during last night's storm. 156 crashes.
Yeah.
Holy cow. And they've been called out to over 25 crashes just so far this morning.
We also just got word of a developing story here that the school districts in Iron County and Juab County are on a delayed start because of the snow we got last night. And, of course, the ongoing snow removal this morning will continue to follow that part of the story.
The first snow squall that hit the state early this week nearly killed an 85-year-old man from Cottonwood Heights when a tree fell on top of him. KSL TV's Garna Mejia has the story.
Doug Edmonds lives for a good story.
Got some extra donuts, and I was delivering them to that house, my next-door neighbor.
But it was on his walk back home that the sky suddenly dimmed and Mother Nature placed Doug on center stage. Doug was buried under the branches of his neighbor's pine tree. He estimates it was at least 55 feet tall.
Edmonds says he probably would have died if he were standing in a slightly different spot when the tree fell.
First look traffic, Andy. The irony of that crash in Sandy is that the truck they put on the tow truck has actually got a plow on the front of it.
I know, right? That's why the ones on the freeways are usually the bigger plow blades. This one looks like it was a truck that clears parking lots and stuff. But it crashed, and it's been there for a couple of hours. We still have the two right lanes blocked. I-15 right after 90 is south. Bumper-to-bumper traffic stretches back to 123rd south, but it doesn't really matter what road you drive on the valley this morning. It's going to be reduced speeds because of snowy conditions, and that extends down into Utah County. Surprisingly, Davis-Weber County has held up pretty decently this morning. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL's top national stories now. Hunter Biden is due to appear in federal court today on tax charges. ABC's Alex Stone reports.
Today's hearing is expected to be quick, likely only a few minutes for Hunter Biden's arraignment on 3 felony and 6 misdemeanor counts. Typically, an arraignment moves quickly. The judge today will not be the judge at trial. Biden is accused by special counsel David Weiss of choosing not to pay over $1 million in taxes and evading others, to instead use that money on drugs, escorts, and luxury hotels, among other things. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The Davis School District is facing a lawsuit over alleged racial discrimination. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has been digging into the lawsuit, and he also spoke with the local chapter of the NAACP.
With more allegations of racial discrimination at Davis School District, I spoke with Janetta Williams, who shared that her organization is actively speaking with school superintendents across the region. But what if students don't feel like they can trust faculty? Williams said her hope is whoever they feel comfortable telling that they do, because the worst case scenario is if students don't speak up.
We don't want the students to shut down and not report anything. We want to make sure that whatever way that we can find for them to discuss or talk about it, to report it, we want to make sure that they're doing that.
Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Researchers at the University of Utah and the Natural History Museum just completed the biggest evolutionary research to date for magic mushrooms.
One of the core motivations for this project was to establish a very robust and representative family tree for the genus Psilocybe.
That was head researcher at the Museum of Natural History, Bryn Dediger. The 3-year study now provides a groundwork for future research, especially about the therapeutic effects of the mushrooms.
Just by way of an update of that situation in Sandy, they just moved that truck we were talking about out of the way, but had to stop traffic momentarily. So things are moving again on the northbound side of I-15. We'll check traffic and weather together next.
Severe weather is in the area.
Commutes could be interrupted. Plan for extra time.
Keep listening.
And we'll help you avoid the traffic problem spots.
Important updates of traffic and weather together coming up on the 9s.
On KSL News Radio.
Looking for the best show deals on new and used RVs? You'll find them only in Ogden during the Northern Utah RV Show, January 11th through the 15th. We're bringing in new and used inventory and low show pricing inside the Golden Spike Event Center. For 4 full days, shop new and used travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, motorhomes, and more from the nation's top brands. Find early season discount pricing on all new models and fantastic used RV discounts like a 2011 Dutchman 185 DB Sport for just $9,995. You'll also find that every remaining 2023 is being sold at clearance pricing during the event. Plus, get no payments until April on approved credits and huge trade-in offers on your current RV. Go to NorthUtahRVShow.com to shop the best deals first. This show season, you'll find it all in Ogden. Admission and parking are free to the Northern Utah RV Show, January 11th through the 15th inside the Golden Spike Event Center. Open daily at 10 a.m., closed Sunday. Then we're back at it Monday, Martin Luther King Day from 10 to 5. Sponsored by Bish's RV. Don't miss it.
Get ready for the ultimate movie experience. You, your loved ones, the big screen, and, oh yeah, the world-class Utah Symphony playing the movie's music live, giving you next-level surround sound. Don't miss the Hollywood classic Casablanca or the animated favorite How to Train Your Dragon. The Films in Concert series will become your new preferred cinematic experience. Located conveniently in downtown Salt Lake City at Marisa Bravenel Hall. See what's playing next at utahsymphony.org/films. Listen to the greatest classical hits from the 1700s to today. The world-class Utah Symphony performs thoughtfully curated programs featuring timeless masterpieces by Strauss, Dvorak, and Tchaikovsky, and even world premieres from modern composers. The Utah Symphony's Masterworks concerts offer elegant and entertaining evenings at Marisa Bravenel Hall in the heart of Salt Lake City. Tickets start as low as $21. Get yours at utahsymphony.org.
Listen to the greatest classical hits from the 1700s to today with the Utah Symphony. Just a quick reminder that Iron County, Juab County school districts both on a delayed start today because of last night's weather and what's going on today with cold temperatures. We'll continue to follow up on that for you.
7:39 now. Traffic and weather together. It's emergency traffic every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Andy?
And right now, Amanda, the worst of the delays are between basically Bluffdale and 90th South in Sandy. They have reopened one of the 2 right lanes that were blocked, but There's still a whole bunch of snow and ice in the right lane, so that's going to need to be plowed before they'll open that up. So they're still moving people over to the left a little bit early. Plan on long delays along Redwood Road, Bangerter Highway, Mountain View, all along the west side. Even State and 700 East are having a lot of extra travel time this morning. This is just through the south end of the Salt Lake Valley, Len.
In Davis and Weber counties, I-15 and Legacy are working well this morning on wet roads. Not so much in South Weber, where Highway 89 is slow in either direction from I-84 toward the regional hospital there. Hillfield Road in Layton is slow right now from Antelope Drive in either direction to SR 193 on the south end of the Air Force Base. Eric?
Into the mountains, we have had snow not very long ago as well over at the top of Parley Summit. Right now, you do have some slowing eastbound and westbound right at that point. It's not too bad, though, on I-80 going east-westbound from the East Canyon exit, just past that down into the valley. You are going to be at reduced speeds. And in Utah County, you got a whole swath of slowing in the north part of the county from Linden, just a little bit of break in American Fork, but then you'll be back in reduced speeds all the way up to Point of the Mountain. And then the south part of the county from Spanish Fork and northbound up to the S-curves, all of that is in slow mode. Matchmaking Saints, a free service for LDS singles powered by a professional matchmaker. Join the free virtual speed dating event on January 18th. Go to matchmakingsaints.com to sign up. That's matchmakingsaints.com. Eric Butler, KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, how about cold highs in the upper 20s today? Cloudy skies and a slight chance for a stray snow shower. 21 overnight, goes to 34 tomorrow with a chance for snow showers. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
23 with some light snow downtown.
Add to the list of things you have to worry about with artificial intelligence, AI-generated pornography.
Yeah, boy.
The state legislature is actually looking at this and trying to protect us. We'll share that with you in a moment here on KSL.
It is time now, though, for Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, brought to you by the law offices of Jordan Wilcox.
A couple days ago in the newsroom, I started telling all my old radio stories to my 20-something producer. Pretty good stories. I once worked on a show with a guy who was in the mafia. Really? He was sitting at the restaurant table when The Godfather was shot dead in Philadelphia. By the way, he didn't see anything. Nice guy, though. I told my producer that I worked with a famous DJ whose wife was cheating, so he went home and killed her. He did time and then got a job working with me. Tip of the iceberg. And I'm telling these stories to her, and after I realized what I was doing, telling stories from before she was born, I'm turning into an old guy. Glory days. Yeah, passing by, glory days. As a kid, I thought this would never happen. As an adult, I joked about it, but now here we are, the day I've dreaded my entire life. January 10th, 2024. This morning, I woke up as a senior citizen. Today's my 65th birthday. And you know how I celebrated? I drove to the local Smith's, and for the first time ever, I parked in the senior citizen space. And I got out of the car over and over again, waiting for somebody to say, hey, you can't park there. Didn't happen. So Medicare card in one hand, microphone in the other. I'll tell you that I'm busier than ever. They're putting these minutes of news on TV. I have new hobbies. I love my life with the woman of my dreams. Sure, I have stories and I might be old, but I'm not elderly. I prefer to think of myself as still crazy after all these years.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
We wished him a happy birthday yesterday. I didn't know it was his 65th. That's a big one.
That is a landmarker for sure, yeah.
It's great to get Medicare, though. I'm actually looking forward to that.
Happy birthday to Jeff Kaplan.
And Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News and the Minute of News brought to you by the law offices of Jordan Wilcox. IRS harassing you? The law offices of Jordan Wilcox can help. Visit taxhelput.com.
Hi, I'm Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. When the IRS invades your life, it's never good news. It's not just you.
My husband passed away. He had been ill for quite some time. And he did the taxes, but he forgot to send them in. He never sent the forms in. And this was the beginning of my nightmare.
Don't face the IRS alone. With everything in your life at stake, don't trust just anyone.
I got all these letters from the IRS telling me I owed them $63,000. I had a good friend that she said, you need an attorney. She said, call Jordan Wilcox.
You need someone to fight for you.
He said, Cynthia, we're going to give him $3,000. How does that sound? I started crying because I was overwhelmed.
Visit taxhelput.com and get relief today. Let's solve your tax problems now. Visit taxhelput.com.
You have it made in the shade with Jordan Wilcox.
That's taxhelput.com.
KSL News Time, 7:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
a new law in Ogden is prohibiting you from parking on the sides of snowy streets. That way, snowplows can cover the whole road. I'm KSL News Radio's Michael Commit.
Second, the Highway Patrol says there have already been 25 crashes on the roads this morning, and they responded to 156 crashes during yesterday's storm.
Speaking of that, let's see what the roads look like with traffic and weather together.
Well, not much relief yet. I-15 still looks like a parking lot and stretches from Bangor Highway up to the 215 interchange. 90 is south. They've still got the right lane blocked, although they cleared up the crash that was initially there. However, travel anywhere in Salt Lake or Utah counties is going to take a lot longer this morning than usual. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
29 today with clouds, but the snow returns tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
We have snow right now and 23 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Let's take a look at our top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. New evidence that the road back from higher inflation is a bumpy one. ABC's Dave Packer has more.
The latest government data shows the consumer price index for December rose 0.3% compared to an expected 0.2%. And looking at all of 2023, prices rose 3.9% compared to 3.8% that analysts had projected. While today's numbers still show inflation easing long term, the trajectory toward the Federal Reserve's targeted 2% inflation will not be an easy one.
Former President Donald Trump's arrived at a New York City court for closing arguments in the civil fraud trial against his businesses. He did not take part in the final Republican debate in Iowa last night ahead of Monday's caucuses. And another massive change is coming to football. Our partners at ESPN report that Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots are parting ways after 24 seasons and 6 Super Bowl titles. This is ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. One of the technology-related bills being prepared for the legislative session would add AI-generated pornography to the state Sexual Exploitation Act.
KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff spoke to the bill's sponsor.
Back when this statute was originally put together, we didn't have this AI technology the way we do now. It wasn't readily accessible like it is now. And so this is just clarifying, should the issue come up, we have a law and we have some guidance on that, and we can protect people from becoming victims, hopefully, and get justice for those who we can't protect up front.
Representative Stephanie Grisha says so-called deepfake computer-generated images are already illegal in the state of Utah, but this bill is an attempt to get out in front of AI technology.
The way the courts interpret videography right now is largely that a video is a series of still shots. As we kind of move forward into these technological advancements, we just want to make sure everything is covered.
But
when the situation comes up, it gives us some legal guidance.
Some people may think that there are no victims when using AI, but Representative Grisha says that is not correct, especially when it comes to children's images.
Child sexual abuse material is very, very serious. Children are the most vulnerable, and they're also our future, and we really do need to get out in front of that. It does cause a lot of harm. It causes a lot of trauma to the victims, and especially where children are involved, they already have enough growing up in this world. The last thing they need is to be trying to defend their reputation against something they've never done. There's a lot of reputational harm that goes on in these situations. If somebody puts your face over a pornographic image, you're then automatically having to defend yourself.
She says artificial intelligence presents an extra challenge.
We don't need these sorts of things floating around. It really does. It does a lot of damage. But with AI, it's not fully creating new images. It's pulling bits and pieces of images and data that have been put into it. So even though you may be mixing and matching body parts and various things, these are still real pictures that are coming from real people.
Representative Grisha sums up the bill this way.
You can't make child porn. Bottom line.
Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
And that's the In-Depth at 15 and 45.
7:49, time for that look at emergency traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with DinoPay. Andy?
Tim, the snowy drive is slowing you down this morning. Plan on a long commute. Not as bad as it was yesterday afternoon if you tried to drive home in that. But this is certainly one of the worst morning drives we've had in a while just because of road conditions and icy traffic. We've had lots of crashes this morning. Right now, no active crash that's responsible for any particular huge delay, but from Bluffdale all the way to Sandy, that could take you 35 to 40 minutes just to go that stretch. 201 freeway's gotten worse now, coming out of Magna and into West Valley. Bangor, Mountain View, 56th West, all seeing extra delay, more than a typical day at 3500 South. Len?
I-15 has mostly escaped the icy conditions in Davis County with good driving. Ogden area to the downtown Salt Lake City ramps. Legacy is working pretty well as well, but in South Weber and South Ogden, Highway 89 is slow in either direction from I-84 toward Ogden Regional. Harrison Boulevard is showing some real slow traffic as you make your way pretty much from the Ogden Canyon Road down all the way to Highway 89. Eric?
I-15 seems to be getting worse rather than better in Utah County. Now we're starting to see some delays between Santaquin and Payson, and the delays are more pronounced in Spanish Fork northbound into Springville and up ahead from Linden over to the Pleasant Grove Boulevard, where we, by the way, have an accident on the off-ramp to go to Pleasant Grove Boulevard. And then you've got some southbound and northbound delays between Timpanogos Highway and 2100 North in Lehigh. For a top-quality kitchen or bath with top-quality craftsmanship, call 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. They're always on time with no delays and meet all deadlines. Visit 3daykitchen.com. Eric Butler, KSL Traffic Center.
7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Where do we start, Matt?
I know. Well, we'll start with the lake effect snow showers that we're seeing. We did anticipate this last night. We'll go 29 by this afternoon. Lake effect snow showers should taper off. It's mainly cloudy and dry today. Yes, a chance for snow showers in the afternoon. 34, snow showers tomorrow, especially in the evening. 37 on Saturday, snow switching to a rain-snow mix, then back to snow Saturday night into Sunday. Sunday, we'll call it snow showers 34. Into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, highs in the 20s and 30s, mainly dry. So we'll take a break from the active weather as we head into Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
That 9 on Tuesday night keeps glaring at me.
No typo there.
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right, snowing lightly downtown right now and 25 degrees.
And we'll get a look at money news just ahead on KSL.
Guys, are you struggling with ED and sick of pills, injections, and just not getting the results you want? Well, let me introduce you to GuyCare. GuyCare can effectively treat the root cause of ED using gentle pressure waves with no injections, no pills, and no side effects. In fact, GuyCare is so confident that we can help you. We are giving you the first treatment totally free today only as part of our grand opening special. You heard right, guys. As part of our grand opening, your first treatment is completely free. No gimmicks, no injections, no pills, just results. Normally, this would cost hundreds of dollars, but call us today and it's all totally free. 801-331-9911. That's 801-331-9911. Put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause of the problem and get your love life back. Call GuyCare right now to qualify for this unprecedented offer. 801-331-9911. Because your high-performance health matters.
Winter has certainly made a return this year, and your furnace is working hard to keep your home warm and comfortable. It's often something that we take for granted until it stops working. Hello, I'm Brian Jackson with Manuel Plumbing and Heating. For over 100 years, my family has provided the best plumbing and heating experience in our area. I have the best HVAC service and repair technicians around, and we repair all major brands of furnaces. So if you find yourself in the cold this winter, call Manuel Plumbing and Heating. We'd love to help return comfort to your home again. Call 801-262-4671.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors, and I'm proud to tell you, we don't lay off employees when things get tough. During the pandemic, we didn't let one of our installers go. Instead, we had them clean and remodel our offices so they could still get paid. Remember the 2008 housing crisis? It was a financial nightmare for even the biggest contractors. Still, we didn't lay off a single worker. Nope, we sacrificed profits to keep paying everyone. Look, when the economy's down, most contractors are quick to lay off their workers. It's the easiest way to save money when times get tight. But at RGS Exteriors, we're loyal to our people. You know why? Because it's the right thing to do. People first. People always. That's the RGS way. For gutters, siding, windows, and more, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's rgsexteriors.com, 801-280-3110.
Dave and Dujanovic. We've seen snow yesterday, today, and we expect it tomorrow. How the snow and below freezing temperatures have led to more than 24 crashes just this morning, and why it's been so difficult to dry up these roads. Today on Dave and Dujanovic.
Watching Utah's Money is brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Markets on the heels of those consumer price index numbers, and now we have jobless claims, by the way, that also dropped to the lowest level since October, are reacting in the negative fashion here. The Dow is off 57, the S&P is down 5, the NASDAQ off just a fraction.
It's time for Cougar Tracks with KSL Sports BYU insider Mitch Harper.
BYU basketball is settling into life as a Big 12 team, but it's coming with challenges. The 0-2 Cougars are experiencing new road venues for the first time. Big 12 road venues are filled with capacity crowds and some of the toughest places to win in college basketball. Head coach Mark Pope on the challenges of playing in those Big 12 gyms.
It's not really that new. I mean, we've been playing the best team in the country, 2 or 3 times a year every year. So it's not like it's something we haven't seen. It's just the relentless nature of it. And we kind of knew that going in. And this is just a different beast for us in the sense of we have to do everything we can to make sure that we're putting our best possible product on the floor every single night.
BYU's next road game is this Saturday against UCF, a team that defeated number 3 ranked Kansas last night on its home floor. For the latest on BYU hoops, download the KSL Sports app today. With Cougar Tracks, I'm Mitch Harper on your legacy home of the BYU Cougars, KSL News Radio.
You know when you have a problem and you finally find someone who can help you with the problem, and they say something like this, I got this. And your heart just relaxes.
Yeah.
This is how it goes with Superior Water and Air. I have a leak somewhere, or I have something, a drain that's stuck, or I have, my furnace isn't working. I call them up and I tell them what the problem is, and their response is, we got this. And I breathe slower after that.
We talked about this over brunch a week ago with them about the relationship that over time is built between Superior and the people that come out and work on your house. They know where you've had problems in the past. They know when your furnace has had a hiccup here or there. They know that you, in particular, are on the heater system, the water heater.
I have a tankless water heater.
The tankless water heater. So that relationship means that they can help you out even more. And whether it's a big thing or a little thing or just a maintenance thing that's going to save you money down the road, Superior Water and Air is a good partner to have.
Oh, I've called them out to the house before thinking it was a big, huge problem, and it turns out to be a $50 problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. You can trust they're not going to upsell you once they're in your home,
right,
which can be a little uncomfortable.
For sure.
Here's the number to call, 801-974-9090, or go to superiorwaterandair.com.
Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. Listen, we're fiduciaries. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. That's 888-999-6370. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. Now, imagine how that would be if you could actually retire 3 to 5 years sooner than your plan was. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan, taking into consideration any rental properties that you have, any pension income that you have, your Social Security. Listen, we put that all together for you in writing. It will allow us to build your income based on inflation. Inflation has been rapidly rising. You and I both need a plan that whatever we start out our income at, in 5 or 10 years, we're going to need 40% more income. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
7:59 emergency traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with DinoPay. Andy?
Amanda, travel on I-15 moving a little more consistently between Point of the Mountain and the South Interchange, with only the far right lane blocked off because of snowy conditions around 90th South. It's still the worst stretch between Point of the Mountain and downtown is prior to 90th South, but it is moving as opposed to just sitting there like it has been for so long. 201, though, getting worse over in the Magna and West Valley stretch. Traffic on 215. It's going to be slow the whole way from the Redwood Road ramp all the way up to the 201 freeway and I-80 interchanges right now as well. And in Tooele County, things have improved at least through Lake Point on SR 36. Len?
In Davis County, a good drive in progress on I-15, where actually now we're seeing some tight traffic as you make your way southbound, pretty much from the North Interchange toward the downtown area. area. Otherwise, Legacy Parkway is in good shape as this morning. But what's here in Weber County, Washington Boulevard, where it evolves into Highway 89, starts to turn, slows on to I-84 in South Weber, where I-84 is also a little bit slow at times in some spots. Harrison Boulevard tight from Ogden Canyon Road past Weber State to just past 40th Street. Eric?
Foothill Drive slow up to the University of Utah. Eastbound I-80 slow spots from the quarry up past the East Canyon exit, and then from Lambs Canyon up to the top of the Parley Summit. And if you're westbound into Park City, you've got some typical slowdowns. Curtis Boulevard down Utah County. Slow spots northbound Spanish Fork, Linden, and through Lehigh from Pioneer Crossing up to Point of the Mountain. Start your dream kitchen or bath today at Bedrock Quartz, where it's only 7 days from template to installation. Visit New Murray or Spanish Fort showrooms or bedrockquartz.com. Bedrockquartz.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Light snow in downtown Salt Lake City on our way to a high of 29. 25 degrees now.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 8 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
We do have some scattered snow showers this morning. That, along with patches of ice on the road from last night, have made the commute a mess.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small is out on the roads and begins our live team coverage. Adam?
Amanda, as I've driven the north end of Salt Lake County this morning, it has just gotten progressively more difficult. The good news is right now, at least, it looks like it's easing up a little bit. Still see a few really tiny flakes falling down on my windshield right now. But just this lake effect snow that we've gotten this morning has made it a lot more difficult because, like you said, we did have some leftovers from yesterday because it was so cold last night and into this morning that not a lot of it was able to melt off at all. So even though plows were going through, they weren't able to pick up a lot. And then now you get more snow this morning. It's been usually a 40 mile an hour cruise in the worst spots on the north end of Salt Lake County, and then 60 miles an hour when you finally break free. But even then, you still have to be super careful as it is slick off the sides of the roads, the passing lanes. Then you add the morning commute. It's been just a little more hazardous to get through today. And then there's, as I've seen on the side streets too, it's a lot more slick over here because obviously Udot plows are going through as much as they can, but in the cities, they may not be able to go through as much. So even here in Salt Lake, there's still a lot of snow building up on the side streets. Reporting live on the I-15 corridor in Salt Lake County, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Utah ski resorts say these storms have been great for business. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with the latest snow totals. How we doing, Michael?
Well, Tim, it looks like every resort in northern Utah got around a foot of new snow after yesterday's storms. 13 inches fell on Brighton and 15 on Alta. Solitude's looking at 16 inches of snow with 11 inches at Snowbird and Powder Mountain. That storm then moved south to put 8 inches on Bryan Head. We'll be certain to keep an eye on all of those totals as the snowfall continues. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Several central Utah school districts have called for a delayed start this morning because they're still clearing off snow. Both Iron County and Juab County schools are on a 2-hour delay.
A man is dead after an avalanche inbounds at a California ski resort near Lake Tahoe. Half an hour after the resort opened, this skier was there when it happened.
We were going up into the lift line, and then somebody yelled avalanche, and then they said we're shutting down right now, and we were just looking around going, what the heck happened?
Officials say the avalanche killed 66-year-old Kenneth Kidd and buried 4 other people who were rescued. Avalanches inbounds at ski resorts are rare.
Eye on the Hill 2024. Special coverage on Utah's Morning News.
One of the new bills being presented to Utah lawmakers this session would add pornographic images generated by artificial intelligence to the state's sexual exploitation statute.
Individual still shots should already be covered. It's already illegal to do computer-generated pornographic images. And so we're going through and clarifying that these will also be covered.
Representative Stephanie Grecius is sponsoring the bill. She wants to make sure the state has some legal guidance in case someone uses AI to create those images.
One Utah lawmaker is introducing a bill to guard online personal data.
Its sponsor, Representative Trevor Lee, says this bill, if passed, would prevent a person from being compelled to produce their personal private electronic key that would unlock any digital assets.
There's a public key that everyone can see transactions of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other coins. That's public. Everyone can see he spent 20 Bitcoin here, or he bought 10 here, or he has $10 million of Bitcoin here, it looks like, from an account. but the only way to access that account is with access to your private key, which is essentially a password you use to get in.
Lee says his bill is submitted for the upcoming session. Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
First look traffic now, and here's Andy Farnsworth.
And it's still pretty rough. I-15, point of the mountain to the south interchange. That's the worst portion of the valley on the freeways. But 201 starting to challenge that with some really thick traffic. Stop and go from Mountain View over to Bangor Highway. Lots of backups. Redwood in West Jordan, South Jordan on Bangor Highway. Foothill starting to stack up on the East Bench. And now I-80 slowdowns in Sugar House and building up more in Parley's Canyon heading towards Park City. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL's top national stories this hour. The latest Republican presidential debate played out in Iowa just days before the state's first-in-the-nation caucuses. Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis slugged it out, mostly going after each other. ABC's Derek Dennis begins our team coverage.
Immigration, a top issue, with DeSantis touting a Trump tactic.
We will build a wall.
Haley going after DeSantis for campaign finance issues.
If you can't manage a campaign, how are you going to manage a country?
The candidates also tangling over America's support for Ukraine. Haley and DeSantis did agree on one thing, both saying Trump should have been on stage with them.
Just moments ago, former President Donald Trump arrived at a New York courthouse to hear the closing arguments for his civil fraud trial. He briefly spoke to reporters before going into the courtroom.
We have a situation where a statute was used that doesn't give me a jury, so I have no jury. I really have no rights, and it's and nobody thinks it's constitutional. Legal scholars are writing about it like it's something they've never seen before.
The former president says he will hold a news conference later today, but did not give a time.
Earlier in the week, we were told that he would handle his own closing arguments, but the judge evidently nixed that idea.
The judge reached out to former President Trump about some agreed guidelines, and the former president never responded to him. So the judge said, if you're not going to respond to me, I guess you're not going to do the closing argument.
Yeah, we'll have more on that, of course, later this afternoon. Stock sports, the Utah Jazz are on a hot streak, beating several of the NBA's best teams over the past week. That includes a 13-point win last night over the defending champion Denver Nuggets. The Jazz have won 11 of their last 15 games, 8 of 10, and they'll play the Toronto Raptors coming up tomorrow night.
We're seeing all kinds of coaching changes being made in both professional and college football. Yesterday, it was Nick Saban retiring from Alabama and Pete Carroll being shown the door by the Seattle Seahawks. This morning, ESPN is reporting Bill Belichick is parting ways with the New England Patriots. Belichick has been a part of the Patriots for 24 years, where he won 6 Super Bowl titles.
Yeah, and I guess that Pete Carroll's still going to stay on as an advisor or something.
So they didn't fire Pete Carroll?
No.
Oh, okay. That was
at least that's not the language anybody's using this morning. We've got a new southbound crash on I-15 at 123rd South, blocking off the HOV lane there. We'll see what kind of effect that's having on the drive next.
Severe weather is bearing down.
Salt Lake 4 to 6, Provo and Utah Valley 7 to 10.
Stop by 2 or 3 times a day for a reliable KSL forecast every 10 minutes on the 9s.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
It's the question that's been on everybody's mind, and it's about to be answered. When will Gillette Heating and Air offer plumbing services?
You want to know?
Yeah! The answer is now. To celebrate, Gillette is offering a free tankless water heater when you buy a high-efficiency heating and cooling system. For a limited time while supplies last, call Gillette today for heating, AC, and now plumbing. Call 385-GET-HEAT.
Carrier, turn to the experts.
Healthcare with human kindness is here. It's at Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Together, we have a common purpose, partnering with you in health and healing using powerful medicine, powerful technology, and the greatest power of all, human kindness. You'll know it when you see it, because human kindness is in every care site and in every caregiver. Common Spirit Health. Hello, human kindness.
Transform your old, outdated kitchen with Half Price Granite. For a limited time, Half Price Granite is offering special pricing starting at $25 per square foot installed. That's lower than most big box stores. These prices are some of the lowest around. Granite, quartz, marble, and quartzite, all starting at $25 per square foot installed. Call 801-486-1700 or visit halfpricegranite.com. Half Price Granite. Affordable luxury.
They say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. You may not have that kind of time for weatherization, energy efficiency, and appliance rebates, but we do. Dominion Energy's ThermWise program has experts who know where and how to save money. They help homeowners and businesses find simple ways to conserve natural gas and rebates through upgrades that may help to save even more. We put our energy into helping you conserve it, so you can spend your 10,000 hours becoming an expert in what matters to you. Start with a home energy plan at thermwise.com.
News sponsored by Dominion Energy's ThermWise program. Their experts help you save money. Start now at thermwise.com.
809 means triple team traffic here and emergency traffic brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Andy, I guess it's safe to just say it's slow everywhere.
Yeah, especially Salt Lake and Utah counties, that's true. But the worst of the freeway delay and the longest freeway delay, Point of the Mountain, I-15 to 90th South before you start to see some improvement. It's really backed up again on 900 East this morning. Redwood Road's struggling in particular around 7800 South in West Jordan. A lot of delays in the South Jordan city streets, including along Bangerter, and then heading east on South Jordan Parkway and on 9800 South. Mountain View looks not too out of the ordinary as far as delay-wise from a typical weekday, but it is really thick through the West Valley portion. Len?
Well, I-15 is starting to slow as you head into the city southbound from the north interchange into the downtown area, but nothing too horrible. And then a little bit of slowing on the north end of the I-215 as you come toward I-80. Otherwise, Legacy Parkway and I-15 pretty good all the way up to Clearfield, where you're going to slow up just a little bit. Antelope Drive just past SR 193, and then in Uinta, it looks still a little bit slow, but getting better. US 89 towards South Weber. Eric?
Might be easier to tell you about the parts of Utah County I-15 that don't have delays, but I'll tell you about the heaviest stretches, and right now that's going through Spanish Fork northbound, and then from about 1600 north in Orem up to the Pleasant Grove Boulevard exit. It is lightening up just a little bit in Lehigh, but you still have slowing from 2100 north just before that up to Point of the Mountain. If you're over on Redwood Road, it's okay through Saratoga Springs, but starting at Camp Williams, you're going to see delays from there up to Porter Rockwell and into Bluffdale and Riverton. Cypress checking account members enjoy discounted rates on auto and RV loans, free access to their credit scores and reports, and a suite of other products and perks. Learn more at cypresscu.com. Cypress Credit Union, your future is our future. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Morning scattered snow showers, especially for the Salt Lake Valley, courtesy of Great Salt Lake. 29 this afternoon, cloudy skies and maybe an isolated snow shower. We'll call it mainly dry. 21 tonight, cloudy skies. 34 tomorrow, snow showers. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Let's see, in Salt Lake City, still 25 degrees this hour.
Debbie has her eye on a proposal that would provide a tax credit for teachers for what they spend out of pocket. She's going to join us to talk about that in a moment here on KSL News Radio.
Stay with us, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Jeff Kaplan here for my good friends at Advanced Window Products. Jake Weber and Nate Orchard are spreading the holiday cheer with their biggest sale of the year. If the wind whistles through your windows, if you want a fresh new look for your number one investment, your home, call Advanced Window Products and take advantage of this incredible end-of-year sale. Replace all of your windows and frames, and you get $2,500 off. But that's not all. You get a free premium glass upgrade. Insulate your home against the cold with double pane windows and stylish frames, any style, any color, and they're built custom right here at their headquarters in Salt Lake City for 37 years. They build the windows, they install the windows, and they guarantee them for life. Plus, an additional $2,500 off and a free premium glass upgrade. You can save now, pay later, so take advantage. Call now, Advanced Window Products, 801-850-9100, 801-850-9100, or visit AdvancedWindowsUSA.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
My little brother's friends have been camped out at our place for 2 days straight. 3. It's because of the Xfinity 10G network. Internet that can handle a house full of screens at once, with basically no interruptions. And it's only getting faster. When I was their age, internet like this was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Please go home.
The next generation 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Now through March 21st, new customers can get 1.2 gigabit internet on the Xfinity 10G network for just $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and Wi-Fi equipment included when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data at regular rates. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless bill and auto-pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 8:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
cold temperatures are keeping some snow and ice on the roads for your drive-in. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, California lawmakers are debating if they should ban tackle football for young kids.
Third, a look at traffic and weather together.
I-15 traffic still jammed, point of the mountain to Sandy, and then delays seem to be getting a little bit worse in Murray. Might have a crash on the 45th South on-ramp, adding to that now. 201 at a stop eastbound around 5600 West. I-80 having some issues between State and 700 East. 7 and 1300 East. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mainly dry today with clouds and a high of only 29. I'm Matt Johnson.
25 degrees now at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Time for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Former President Donald Trump's arrived at the New York City courthouse for closing arguments in the civil fraud trial against his businesses. ABC's Eric Katursky is there and says the judge overseeing the case received a threat at his home.
It was about 5:30 in the morning when the judge received a swatting threat. Swatting has become far more common in the United States, and Judge Arthur Engoron is its latest victim. We're told the Nassau County Bomb Squad on Long Island responded to Judge Engoron's home.
There was no bomb. President Biden's son Hunter will be in a California court today. He'll be arraigned on tax charges. Former President Trump did not take part in last night's Republican debate, the last before the Iowa caucuses on Monday. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis was there, and in the CNN debate, he said a top priority will be ending the war in Ukraine.
We don't have enough resources, being $35 trillion in debt, to continue doing hundreds of billions of dollars. We got to focus on our issues here at home, and we've got to deal with the top threat that we face, which is China.
Higher rents and food prices pushed inflation up in December. ABC's Dave Packer says it was up 0.3% compared to November. That's more than expected.
And higher than November when prices rose just 0.1% from the month before. November's uptick boosted by higher rents and food prices. But the longer-term pressure on inflation could be seen in core prices, which excludes volatile energy and food. That measure, rising 3.9% from the year before, marks the first time core inflation has dropped below 4% since May of 2021.
Law enforcement deaths in the line of duty fell by 40% last year. According to the National Law Enforcement Memorial Fund, 136 officers died in the line of duty compared to 224 the year prior. It's another end to a dominant era in football. Bill Belichick is out as coach of the New England Patriots after 24 years. You're listening to ABC News.
All right, let's talk about this legislative session that's coming up Tuesday, and all of us are going to be up there broadcasting live.
Yeah, including Debbie DeJean.
Yeah, we'll be right after you guys wrap up your show on Tuesday morning when the legislature kicks off. So I want to give you some information on this new tax credit for Utah school teachers that lawmakers will be considering. It's a proposed piece of legislation. It would be a $500 a year tax credit, and it would cover things like books, equipment, software programs that their ordinary funds just don't cover, and teachers find that they specifically need an item in their classroom. It also covers items like if a teacher has to buy a child a hygiene product, if they have to buy a child food because maybe that child is going hungry at home and they want to be able to give them something to eat.
Almost every classroom I'm in, they have snacks. And I'm sure that they're buying those
And
snacks.
you're a substitute teacher, so I'm
snacks.
curious to know more about your experience with that.
They all have snacks.
And do the teachers pay for those?
I think so.
Yeah, and they get $175 a year right now to pay for supplies, but I'm breaking that down, you guys. And that in a school year was about 8 months and 9 months in a school year. That's about $19 a week, a month. $19 a month, which breaks down to about $5 a week. So this tax credit would cover a lot more. It would give teachers a reimbursement essentially for the money that they're spending out of pocket.
Need it. They so need it.
Well, when I saw that this legislation covers food and hygiene products, I want to know more about what you're seeing in the classroom, Amanda, when you substitute. What teachers are seeing with our children?
Oh, they get hungry. Of course they do. I mean, don't
Yeah.
you get hungry?
Oh,
about
of course.
2:30 in the afternoon.
I do. I wonder if there's a greater need than in the past. So, and I'm concerned about that. We're going to talk to the Utah Education Association in the show today to ask them what our teachers are seeing in our classrooms.
All right. Dave and Deb coming up 9 this morning, and this portion of Utah's Morning News brought to you by Revere Health.
8:19, we have emergency traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with DinoPay. Andy?
Amanda, the delays are breaking up a little bit on I-15 between Point of the Mountain and 90th South. And what I mean is that you're moving a little more consistently as opposed to sitting at a stop for a while. But the snow is increasing now over the west side of the valley, and I'm seeing the 201 freeway coming, grinding kind of to a halt going between 7200 West and Bangerter Highway in particular as the snowdrifts start piling up in the lanes again. That's also affecting traffic on the west side belt, Bangerter and Mountain View trying to get to 201 at the moment. I-80 also beginning to see speeds dip again from 56 West over to I-15. Len?
Oh, Andy, coming out of Davis County, I-15 is busy and tight from the north interchange to Rose Park, then eases into just a slow drive, a little bit slow to the downtown ramps. Otherwise, I-15, no delays. Ogden to the north interchange. Legacy Parkway is looking good. US 89 is smooth from Lagoon to South Weber, but after that, right after I-84, it's busy through South Ogden, but improving as you make your way up toward Washington Boulevard. Eric?
Well, we might have delays there anyway, but a crash northbound heading out of Spanish Fork up towards Springville is complicating matters, probably making it a little bit worse. So right now you've got slowdowns through those two cities, heading up into Provo as well. And further up ahead, you got northbound and southbound slowing from North Orem up to the Pleasant Grove Boulevard exit. You also got a crash off of northbound going on to Pleasant Grove Boulevard. And you got your usual slowdowns over on eastbound 2100 north as you go from Redwood Road over to the freeway. From January 8th through the 28th, if you buy a set of 4 select tires from Big O Tires, you'll get free pizza products for a year from our friends at Papa Murphy's. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has clouds in there for today. 29 the high and a slight chance for a stray snow shower. 34 tomorrow, snow showers. We go for snow and maybe some rain mixing in on Saturday, high of 37. Back to 34 with a switch over to snow showers on Sunday. Partly cloudy and cold, 27 dry on Monday, 29 on Tuesday. We go mostly cloudy with a high of 34 on Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, 25 degrees. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
You know, Deb came in and she expressed a sentiment I bet a lot of our listeners are feeling this morning, which is after you've had a few days of tough snow and being stuck in traffic, you've had enough. But yeah, we have 4 more days coming up, so we got to keep strong.
Here's the thing. No whining allowed because we were talking not long ago about our fear of drought.
Right. We need the water.
And this will get us, these series of storms this week, get us not only caught up from December, but get us everything we would be expecting in January.
Right. So do the, what did Doug Wright used to do? Yeah. Do that. We'll get through it together.
Coming up in a minute, we'll see how the markets are reacting to some jobs numbers and that CPI report next.
At Revere Health, we understand that a proactive approach to maintaining your health increases the potential to lead an active, healthy life. Routine preventative care helps detect problems early, helping to reduce or eliminate health complications in the future. Annual health screenings are an important measure you can take to prevent chronic issues from limiting your activity. Schedule a wellness checkup and begin your journey to a healthier life. Revere Health, your partner in health, your partner for life.
Paid for by GovMint.com.
The 1878 to 1921 Morgan silver dollar, a true American classic and one of the most iconic silver dollar coins in history. It's been 100 years since the last Morgan silver dollar coin was struck for circulation, and now, for a limited time only, full pound bags of original U.S. government-struck Morgan dollars are being released to the public. That's right, you can own a full pound of 1878 to 1921 classic American Morgan silver dollar coins, all in very good collector condition with fully visible dates and mint marks, guaranteed. Call 1-800-473-0864 now to secure collector-grade U.S. Morgan silver dollars by the pound, struck during the Wild West and the Gilded Age. Plus, receive a bonus American Collector's Pack valued at over $25, free with every order. Call 1-800-473-0864 now to secure your full pound bag of Morgan silver dollar coins before they are gone. 1-800-473-0864. That's 1-800-473-0864.
When your back pain is your foot's fault. This is Dean's story.
It was affecting me when I walked, which is a kind of a common activity.
Dean's chronic back pain had become a pain in the you-know-what.
At first, I just sort of ignored it, but eventually everything catches up to you.
Physically and mentally.
Back pain affects your mood. It really does.
But that's not the only connection Dean made.
A friend of mine suggested I go to the Good Feet store. I was a little confused. Why would I need a foot store? My feet are fine.
But he thought, what the heck? He had nothing to lose.
They took impressions of my feet, and with the footprint, they were able to get me a personalized arch support that, lifted pressure off my back.
So the source of your back pain was right under your toes.
It's something maybe I should have known, but I found out in the nicest possible way.
See how arch supports work for you with a free fitting. Find your Good Feet store at goodfeet.com.
Stop by the Good Feet store in Farmington, Riverton, or Sandy for a free fitting. Call 1-800-NEW-FEET or visit mygoodfeet.com.
Dave and Dujanovic. We've seen snow yesterday, today, and we expect it tomorrow. How the snow and below freezing temperatures have led to more than 24 crashes just this morning, and why it's been so difficult to dry up these roads. Today on Dave and Dujanovic.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Video game streaming platform Twitch is laying off more than 500 employees. CEO Dan Clancy says they're cutting costs and becoming more efficient. The company was purchased by Amazon about 10 years ago. It's not the only department cutting employees.
Well, we got inflation numbers earlier this morning that inflation up 3.4% from the year before in December. Markets immediately started to react, and the Dow is now down 166, closing in on 0.5%. The S&P is down 19, and the Nasdaq is off 55.
We've got delays northbound I-15 from Draper all the way to downtown and through much of Utah County, too. It's been a rough morning. We'll check it all next on KSL.
Strike gold every day with Golden Rewards at Golden West Credit Union. Introducing the new Golden West Loyalty Program. Every member can enjoy the Gold Account, a free savings account with an impressive 6% annual percentage yield. You can fund your Gold Account in 4 ways. Opt in to round up your debit card purchases to the nearest dollar with Roundup Rewards. The extra change will automatically be deposited into your Gold Account. To add even more funds, your Visa Signature, Platinum Rebate, and Visa Rewards Cashback will be deposited directly into your high-yield Gold Account. The year-end Golden Bonus Dividend will be deposited into your Gold Account to earn even higher dividends. And take advantage of special promotional offers at Golden West, and we will deposit the cash reward, earning you even more. Your Gold Account savings will add up fast. Secure your free Gold Account at Golden West Credit Union today or online at gwcu.org. Member NCUA.
We'll take care of you.
Weeks like this are what KSL is all about.
Moderate to heavy snow throughout the day, through the overnight.
The roads up north just getting hammered right now, including I-15.
Thicker, heavier, wetter snow than this powdery light stuff we've been getting.
Harder to shovel come the weekend. Extra reporters, emergency traffic conditions, school cancellations. Rely on KSL News Radio.
102.7 FM,
1160 AM.
And ask Alexa, play KSL News Radio.
The movie show is at Minky Couture in Layton this Friday from 10 to 1. Check out all the ways to stay cozy and warm during these cold months. MinkyCouture.com.
8:29. Still emergency traffic. Probably going to be that way. This look brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. And still snowing in some places, Andy.
Yeah, the 201 freeway in particular seeing extra delay from that, as is traffic approaching 201 in West Valley. I-15 still struggling with slowdowns more than just slow because of the weather, but backups between the Bluffdale exit now all the way to the 215 South interchange. Redwood Road, also several listeners letting us know just how poor the road conditions are in West Jordan in particular, and I do see extra delay, especially around 7800 South at the moment. Len?
Well, I-15's been working well all morning in Davis County, but is slow now from the north interchange to the downtown. Otherwise, it's a pretty smooth drive from Ogden all the way down to the north interchange. You've got some tight surface streets like 500 South in Centerville. US 89 now doing well, making your way up to South Weber. But after that, as you make a left turn up to South Ogden, you've got some little bit of slow traffic going there. Eric?
Heading into the mountains, we do have some slowing between Lambs Canyon and the top of Parley Summit. In fact, up there on the eastbound side, that'll continue on to the Kimball Junction exit. Not as bad as it has been at some points this morning, save for Provo Canyon drivers heading out to Heber City. And in Utah County, we still got the slowdowns northbound 15 from Spanish Fork into Provo. And as you go from Linden over through Lehigh up to the Timpanogos Highway exit, then it improves at least for a short period of time going around Point of the Mountain. Common Spirit, hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with Human Kindness is here. Hello, Human Kindness. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
We've got snow coming more this afternoon, in addition to what you've already experienced this morning. And then there is snow in the forecast through Sunday. Right now it's 25 downtown.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio,
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 8:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
It is the weather. Scattered snow showers and leftover patches of ice. Those two things combined have made this morning's commute slow and slippery.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small has been out driving the roads for the past several hours and begins our live team coverage. Adam?
Amanda, I think Mother Nature heard some of my earlier reports where thinking, maybe a trace to an inch of snow in some spots and was just like, you sure about that? Because, man, it is really coming down right now in the Salt Lake Valley as it has been all morning. Lake effect snow is just having a big impact. It's coming down harder than I thought it ever would this morning. I mean, I'm going about 20 miles an hour in some spots on I-15 here in Salt Lake County. And this is past those huge delays you're seeing as you just cross over Point of the Mountain we've been seeing all morning. Snow is sticking to the road, too, because of how cold it is. You're talking low 20 degrees right now around the Wasatch Front, which is you've got what's.
Nope. Hopefully that's just technology and not him going off the road.
Yeah, be safe, Adam.
We'll check back with Adam coming up. A new law in Ogden hopes to make life easier for snowplow drivers. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit continues on live team coverage. Michael?
Tim, snowplows struggle to clear the whole road when they have to go around parked cars, and this led to some complaints in Ogden. Those voices were heard, so now the city has a new law which prohibits parking on the side of the road if there's more than an inch of snow or ice on the street. There will be some exceptions. You should still be able to park on all state roads, near properties without a driveway, or other places lacking off-street options. Other cities along the Wasatch Front actually already follow similar rules. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
UDOT's incident management team was really busy last night during the storm, helping the Highway Patrol with 156 crashes and slide-offs. KSL TV rode along with roadway safety specialist Tanner Thomas as he helped get cars off the road after a slide-off or a crash.
Every day's a different adventure, that's for sure. We can have a lot of accidents come in all at once. You think you've seen it all, and then something else happens.
I bet he does have stories to tell.
Yeah.
So far this morning, the Highway Patrol says there have been 25 crashes.
Let's check on some of those stories this morning with First Look Traffic. Andy?
Well, as bad as this morning has been, it's not as bad as it was yesterday afternoon. So as long as you keep that in mind, you can maybe be patient with the slowdowns that you're seeing, which still continue to be I-15 from Sandy, Draper, all the way now into Murray. South Salt Lake starting to get worse as the snow kind of works its way from the West Valley portion over towards Salt Lake City. 201's been having a lot of issues. The snow drifts are starting to pile up in between lanes again. Extra city street delays in South Jordan and West Jordan. Utah County, the worst of the freeway right now, Pleasant Grove to Orem, but there's also a couple stretches in the S-curves in Provo and then down in Spanish Fork where things have taken a turn for the worse. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
A man in Cottonwood Heights was nearly crushed by a falling tree during one of this week's snow squalls. KSL TV's Garna Mejia says 85-year-old Doug Edmonds feels pretty lucky to be alive.
Doug was buried under the branches of his neighbor's pine tree. He estimates it was at least 55 feet tall.
I hurt my shoulder. My shoulder's hurting a little bit, but nothing bad.
Doug says his part in this story still has a happy ending.
Had I been anywhere in that driveway, I would have been killed. So I'm one lucky character.
Edmund says a high wind gust knocked the tree down as he was delivering donuts to his neighbor.
Oh, what a guy. All right, our top national stories this hour. Hunter Biden expected to enter a plea deal for tax-related charges. Let's check in with ABC's Andrea Refugee.
The president's son has called the charges politically motivated. He faces 17 years in prison if convicted. It comes just one day after Hunter's high-drama appearance on Capitol Hill, surprising lawmakers, walking into a House hearing where Republicans were preparing to hold him in contempt for refusing to testify behind closed doors. Hunter Biden has long said he would answer their questions, but only in public. Hunter Biden taking a seat right in the front row, the hearing thrown into chaos. For years, Republicans have tried to tie Hunter Biden's business relations to his father, but acknowledging they have found no concrete evidence of wrongdoing.
Biden is accused of not paying at least $1.4 million in federal taxes and taking false deductions. Former President Donald Trump will also be in court today. Matter of fact, I think he's there right now, attending the closing arguments in the New York civil fraud trial.
Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis went after each other last night in the last GOP debate before the Iowa caucuses. At the same time, the former president was just a few miles away.
Trump counter-programming the debate with a town hall on Fox News bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it. And I'm proud to have done it.
Another Republican in the race, former New Jersey Governor Christie, dropped out earlier yesterday and was caught on a hot mic criticizing Haley's chances.
She's going to get smoked, and you and I both know it. She's not up to this.
Christie did not endorse either Haley or DeSantis as he left the race, but polls show his supporters would likely get behind Haley, giving her a boost ahead of the Iowa caucuses next Monday.
ABC's Dennis Derrick says political analysts say they were surprised that Haley and DeSantis didn't spend more time last night going after the former president.
Researchers from the Natural History Museum and the U of U just finished up the biggest study to date on the evolution of magic mushrooms. KSL News Radio's Emma Caddington has more.
Key researchers Bryn Dettinger and Alex Bradshaw say this study brought some major findings. One of those key findings was that the psilocybe organism existed much earlier than they thought. They tracked its existence to around 65 million years ago, right around when the dinosaurs went extinct. They also tracked the evolutionary history of the mushroom, speculating that the original purpose was to ward off snails and slugs.
The researchers say that this study lays groundwork for more research on mushrooms, primarily on its therapeutic aspects.
There's also new research that shows children using marijuana are at a higher risk for mental disorders.
A third of children using marijuana reported hallucinations or paranoia. That's consistent with data showing children using the drug have a higher chance of developing psychosis. A psychotic episode after using marijuana was associated with a 47% chance of developing schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, according to the American Journal of Psychiatry. The risk of developing psychosis after using it is higher than amphetamines, hallucinogens, opioids, and alcohol. The rate of diagnoses for cannabis-induced disorders were more than 50% higher at the end of last year compared to what they were in 2019. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
We should tell you, Adam just checked in with us. He's good. Just technical issues, not road problems out there. Although there's plenty to talk about. Slow just about everywhere. We'll check your traffic and weather together next.
Listen to KSL for news to get exactly what you want.
It's a good place to get accurate news.
They do the in-depth, reliable, balanced, thought-provoking.
Hear the important stories, the stories that affect you.
On KSL News Radio.
With fresh snow comes fresh deals at Murdoch Hyundai. Make some fresh tracks to our winter sales event. Receive 0% for 3 years on a new Tucson or Santa Fe.
Where does a journey to wellness begin? Do you start looking for diet ideas? Or searching for exercise plans? Actually, you don't have to look far. Just look to the first 2 letters of the word wellness. We means you don't have to figure it out yourself. It means your hopes and challenges are a perfect match for our knowledge and resources. It means anything you want to achieve, together, we can achieve better. Because wellness begins with we. Intermountain Health, the power of we.
If you're just joining us this morning, we want to remind you that it was Juab County, and what was the other one down?
Iron County?
Hiram and Juab County,
Iron?
both on 2-hour school delays today.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind if you've got kids down there. I guess you'd know that by now.
Yeah, for sure. 8:39 now. We have emergency traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with DinoPay. Andy?
Amanda, travel through Salt Lake Valley. I-15's been the trouble spot all morning. Started with a crash earlier that it took them a couple hours to clear up. Now things are starting to move a little more consistently at the south end of the valley. That's right as the snow starts to increase closer to Salt Lake City. And so I-15 seeing delays in South Salt Lake we weren't seeing earlier. 201 still really bad in the snow drifts going over from 5600 west toward Bangalore Highway. And a lot of city street delays. In fact, it looks like I-80 is now rough coming out of Lake Point as the snow's affecting that stretch of I-80 as well. Len?
Andy, on the north end of the I-215 westbound, starting to tighten up in either direction from the Rose Park Golf Course to I-80. That's about 1700 north. Otherwise, I-15 a little slow coming from the north interchange into the downtown area. The rest of the stretch is looking great, though, all the way to Ogden. A little bit of slowing as you're on Highway 89 approaching I-84 itself. Eric?
Some slowdown spots remain northbound I-15 in Utah County, Spanish Fork, going through Spanish Fork. That's one of the slowest. You got a crash just past the Highway 6 exit if you're heading north from there. And up ahead through Linden, you've got slowdowns both directions, as well as northbound slowing from Lehigh's Main Street up past Timpanogos Highway 2, Point of the Mountain. Out in the Wasatch Back, we got some slowing now. Northbound US 40 approaching the River Road intersection. If you're coming out of Heber City, expect some delays there. We might have a crash. I-80 through the mountains, not too bad, but going past the Kimball Junction exit, it's going to be a slow down mode as you head over towards Silver Creek. Start your dream kitchen or bath today at Bedrock Quartz, where it's only 7 days from template to installation. Visit New Murray or Spanish Fork showrooms or bedrockquartz.com. bedrockquartz.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cold air moving over the Great Salt Lake is allowing for some lingering snow showers in the Salt Lake Valley. We'll go for 29 this afternoon. Most of those snow showers should taper off around the lunch hour. Today is mainly cloudy skies in the afternoon and evening, but still a chance for snow showers. 34 tomorrow. We got snow showers, especially the second half of the day. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
All right, just to be perfectly accurate, it was Juab and Iron County on the 2-hour delay today. Light snow still falling, 23 downtown.
Because misery loves company, we're going to go out in the roads and talk to Adam Small again and see where he is and what the delays have been like where he's driving. We'll check in with him just ahead on KSL News Radio.
Follow us streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
If there's a problem during your siding, gutter, or window installation project, most contractors will try to hide it, ignore it, or blame someone else. It's called passing the buck or turning a blind eye, or my favorite, finger pointing. My question is, where is the accountability? Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors, and look, sometimes problems just happen, no matter who you hire. Maybe the wrong color siding gets delivered, despite the order being placed perfectly, or maybe a downspout gets cut short. Honestly, it could be anything. At RGS Exteriors, mistakes are rare, but if something goes wrong, I can absolutely, positively, 100% guarantee you we'll never hide it, and we'll never pass the buck. We'll make certain everything turns out right for you. That's people over profits. That's the RGS Exteriors way. For a free estimate on siding, gutters, or windows, call 801-280-3110, rgsexteriors.com, rgsexteriors.com.
Can we talk about something difficult to discuss? Are you going through a difficult financial time? You have equity in your home, but nobody can help. I'm Jason Erskine with American Home Loans, and we have created the Bridge Loan Program to use your equity regardless of your credit at this time. The Bridge Loan can be used to pay debts, collections, IRS liens, divorce settlement, or just simply improve your property. Give us a call at 801-262-2221. This loan creates a bridge between now and a much brighter future. During COVID, one of our clients had over $85,000 on credit cards. Their scores were too low to borrow on their home. We were able to save them $2,000 a month, and after 8 months, they qualified for a conventional loan and improved their situation. Look, the consultation is free. Please let us see what we can do for you. Call 801-262-2221. That's 2221 or go to AmericanHomeLoans.com. That's AmericanHomeLoans.com.
NMLS 245422, Equal Housing Lender.
Boyd Matheson on the pitfalls of politics. Sadly, both political parties are more interested in scoring political points than they are solving the American people's problems. They're playing a zero-sum game. And it's not zero-sum. It's everybody coming together. We have to come together. Compromise has integrity. That's a big part of what's going wrong in our nation's capital and in many conversations around the country.
Inside Sources with Boyd Matheson, 1 to 3 on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 8:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
a new bill being prepared for Utah's lawmakers hopes to get ahead of artificial intelligence and deep fake pornography. I'm KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff.
Second, Ogden is the latest city cracking down on people parking on the street during or after a snowstorm.
Third, a look at traffic and weather together.
Traffic on I-15 getting worse in South Salt Lake. Got a southbound crash now just a little bit after 90 south. A listener talking about how slick it is in that stretch. We've also got 201 slow the whole way now because of snowy conditions from 56th West all the way over to I-15. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
29 today with clouds, but the snow returns tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 25 at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
And time for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Former President Donald Trump's at a New York City courtroom for what he's calling a terrible witch hunt. It's closing arguments in the civil fraud trial against his businesses. ABC's Aaron Katursky says the judge overseeing the case has been the target of a threat at his home.
It was about 5:30 in the morning when the judge received a swatting threat. Swatting has become far more common in the United States, and Judge Arthur Ngorin is its latest victim. We're told the Nassau County Bomb Squad on Long Island responded to Judge Ngorin's home.
President Biden's son Hunter's expected in a Los Angeles courtroom this afternoon. He'll be arraigned on tax charges. President said there's much more work to do on inflation after the consumer price index was up 0.3% in December, more than expected. And another legendary football coach is stepping aside. New England Patriots coach Bill Belichick is out after 24 years and 6 Super Bowls. This is ABC News.
Let's go in depth now on this weather. The snow this morning's been or missing, depending on either been hitting or missing, depending on where you are. But just about everybody's been impacted by it.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small has definitely been impacted. He's out driving around all morning. How is it where you are now, Adam?
Well, I'm honestly just surprised, Amanda. Like, I was going through my earlier scripts this morning. We're talking about a trace, maybe an inch in some parts of the Wasatch Front, but then suddenly lake effect snow just started coming in force. Over the last couple of hours. I've gone from about Murray to downtown here over the last 20 minutes or so, and it's still coming down pretty good. As much as it's sticking to the roads, it's just making things more complicated. It's just something that as of a couple hours ago, I was not expecting. At least it's coming down pretty good.
Well, and most people, I would think, live in areas that they know are prone to lake effect snow.
Like us.
And are prepared for it. But my goodness, you still, can't do much about the road conditions. And we've had some people complaining about the lack of snow plows out there. Have you seen many on your drive?
Well, I have seen a couple. I know that, I think there is one caveat, though. I saw a lot more earlier, especially when there were fewer cars on the road. I think it's just a rush hour. I imagine they have a little bit of a harder time sliding in with all the cars. But I have seen a couple out, but they were definitely out early this morning. I think they're probably getting, blindsided by this lake effect snow just like we are, because like you said, with this kind of stuff, it's just kind of hard to see coming when, we're again, I talked with several meteorologists this morning who was talking about, a trace of snow, and here we are, and we're accumulating it. As that cold air moves over the Great Salt Lake.
Is it getting better now, Adam, as you drive around?
Honestly, it's not really. It's progressed. It's gone in phases. Earlier this morning, we're dealing with mostly leftovers from yesterday because of how cold it is, and then it starts getting better. It's getting lighter, but then in the last 30 minutes or so, the lake effect snow has picked up to honestly the strongest that I've seen it as I've been out over the last few hours or so. It's kind of hard to tell when it's going to taper off, but at this point, I want to be able to give more good news, but I have to say the roads aren't really getting much better. You're just going to have to just take it extra slow today. I know it's difficult, but on days like today where you're already dealing with, UHP is dealing with, 24 crashes already, 150 something since last night. it just goes to show how much extra careful you have to be with all these different factors at play.
All right, buddy, be careful out there. We'll hope that you make it back here safely and in one piece. You want a little bit of good news?
Yeah.
One of our texters just said, I can see blue sky in West Jordan. Just a little teeny hole of it. But there's at least a break momentarily in the clouds.
That's more than we have downtown. It's those thick clouds out there. Thank you for that text. We always look for the hole of sunshine.
Yeah, let's hope for positive news here as we check your traffic and weather together. It's emergency traffic, and it's brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with DinoPay. It may just be this way for a while, Andy.
Yeah, and that's hopefully the nice thing is maybe some of you have waited to leave until now, and so you're not going to get as much traffic around you. But with the storm seeming to increase intensity right now, road conditions seem to be getting worse. We've got delays both directions of I-15 and Sandy, but the northbound delays extend all the way up into Murray, and then again, South Salt Lake to downtown. SR 201 backed up the whole way. Let me rephrase that. Slow the whole way. Only backed up around 5600 West. But you don't really get back up to the speed limit because of road conditions all the way over to I-15. I-80 also in worse shape now than earlier from Lake Point to the airport. Len?
Well, we're looking at freeways in Weber and Davis County, still looking pretty good until approaching Salt Lake City. I-15 sluggish from the north interchange to downtown, as well as on the north end of the I-215. It's very slow in either direction through Rose Park from about 1700 north. Otherwise, US 89 is looking pretty good, Farmington to South Weber. That's where it's still a little bit slow as you make your way into the South Weber area, or South Ogden, I should say. Eric?
There are some spots of improvement in Utah County on I-15, but you've still got slowing going away from Spanish Fork on northbound 15 to where an accident's taking place before the first Springville exit. That's 400 south. And up ahead into the S-curves from Provo into Orem, some slowing there. And you're basically reduced speeds from Lehigh's Main Street up to Point of the Mountain. It's worse over on Bangerter Highway going from Camp Williams up to the Porter Rockwell intersection. Is the IRS harassing you? Are tax problems ruining your life? Let Utah Tax Attorney Jordan Wilcox help. Visit taxhelput.com. That's taxhelput.com. Eric Butler, KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast goes for highs in the upper 20s today, cloudy skies, and a slight chance for a snow shower. 34 tomorrow, snow showers possible. Working into Saturday, that looks like the brunt of our next event. 37 the high, snow potentially switching to rain. We'll go 34 as snow showers on Sunday. 27, partly cloudy for your Monday, dry. Overnight low into Tuesday morning, 9 degrees. Daytime high Tuesday, 29, partly cloudy. Mostly cloudy on your Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Just looking out of our window here at Broadcast House, I feel like I'm in a snow globe.
It does feel a little that way.
I'm behind the glass of a snow globe.
Yeah.
We have light snow and 23 degrees, and the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Better to be on this side of the glass than that side of the glass for sure. We got a little break for BYU basketball. The men's team gets a chance to catch their breath, but oh boy, they play Central Florida on Saturday afternoon.
That's going to be a challenge.
And Central Florida, you might think, is one of the more winnable games because they're unranked. But Mitch reminded us that last night they beat number 3 ranked Kansas 65-60, and their fans stormed the court.
Right. And that's who we're up against.
It just doesn't get any easier in the Big 12 when you're talking basketball. That game, by the way, tips at 2, so we'll have the pregame coming up 1 o'clock right in the middle of Cougar Sports Saturday.
If you've ever experienced running out of hot water before your shower was done, or hard water spots on dishes and fixtures, I've got a deal you might be interested in. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and you probably already know that a tankless water heater and a water softener solve both issues. If you've ever thought about looking into getting a tankless water heater, here's the deal I was talking about. Through the end of February, we're including a free water softener with every new tankless water heater we install. The best part of this deal might be that you never have to worry about being the last one to the shower again, or that you don't have to waste the money keeping 40 to 50 gallons of water hot 24/7. To take advantage of this deal, call Any Hour Services before the end of February. The visit's free and there's no obligation to buy. If you decide to have us install a new tankless water heater, we'll throw in the water softener for free. That's right, a free water softener when you purchase a tankless water heater. Pick up the phone and call Any Hour Services right now for all the details. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
It's that time of year. Time for the amazing Utah Auto Expo. Friday, January 12th through Monday the 15th at the Mountain America Exposition Center. This is your chance to see the newest cars, trucks, and electric vehicles all at one location. See the luxury vehicle display. See the heartwarming Subaru pet adoption area. Lots to do for the whole family, and parking is always free. It's the Utah Auto Expo. The 12th through the 15th, Mountain America Exposition Center. Go to AutoExpoUtah.com for discounts.
When you crash your car, you get it fixed. When your computer crashes, you get a new one. But what will you do if you've been saving in a 401k or an IRA and the market crashes? If you're in your 30s or 40s, you'll be just fine. But if you're in or near retirement, you could be in trouble. Mike Stevens and his team at Capital Wealth Advisors are here to help. They can run a risk analysis to see if you're too heavily invested in the market. Don't let the ups and downs of Wall Street control you or your retirement dreams. Call 801-210-5500 today to schedule your risk analysis with Mike Stevens and the team at Capital Wealth Advisors. That's 801-210-5500. Crashes happen. Question is, are you ready? Capital Wealth Advisors, 801-210-5500. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
Dave and Ujinovic. We've seen snow yesterday, today, and we expect it tomorrow. How the snow and below freezing temperatures have led to more than 24 crashes just this morning, and why it's been so difficult to dry up these roads. Today on Dave and Ujinovic.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. China's auto exports rose 63.7% in a single year, while sales at home only rose 4.2%. The surge will likely propel China past Japan as the world's #1 car exporter, mostly in part due to electric vehicles.
Netflix's ad-supported tier is doing extremely well. It hit more than 23 million monthly users. It's much cheaper than an ad-free version, sitting at $6.99. It's cheaper than an ad-free version, which is $6.99 a month.
All right, sad to say goodbye to Fruit Stripe gum. This is left over from my childhood here. The CEO decided to discontinue it after looking at consumer preferences, purchasing patterns, and brand trends. The decades-old gum came in 5 flavors and included a temporary tattoo of the mascot, Yipes, the zebra.
It looks like the markets are not happy about that CPI number that we got this morning. The Dow is now off 195. That's 0.5%. We're at 37,500. S&P is off 26. That's 0.5%. The Nasdaq down 88, which is 0.6%.
I think the markets are saying, well, the Feds won't be dropping interest rates now. We'll see what's happening on the roads as we get one more look at what's left of Morning Drive next.
Hi, this is Doug Wright, and I'm here to tell you about NPS. You know, I'm kind of a late bloomer to NPS. I wish somebody had told me years ago about the amazing savings waiting for you at each of the NPS stores. There's Layton, there's Orem, and the 2 stores here in Salt Lake. Each and every day on brand new name brand items, you're going to save 30 to 70%. But you know, when you shop NPS consistently, you're going to discover, just as Dee and I have, that they throw in additional savings on top of the 30 to 70% off, like 50% off clothing and clothing accessories, 50% off bags and backpacks right now. That goes through January 13th. It's an adventure to shop at NPS. And by the way, as Igor always tells us at the Salt Lake store, when you see something great, buy it, because you snooze, you lose. It's waiting for you right now at NPS.
Mr. Mac's Buy One, Get One sale. Buy one suit for $2.99. Get the second for $100. Any style, any occasion. Free alterations in 9 locations. Mr. Mac.
Boyd Matheson invites you to go beyond the headlines. Is this a fake fight? Is this a false choice? Is this performative politics just so someone can get some clicks? We have to get to the principles and policies. That's what really matters. Is it performative or is it principled?
Inside Sources with Boyd Matheson, 1 to 3 on KSL News Radio.
You trust us for news and information in your car. Now trust us at home. KSL News Radio has you covered, keeping you informed on the latest breaking news, weather, traffic, sports, and more. Listen on your Amazon Echo or Google Home device. Just say, Alexa, open KSL News Radio. Or listen on the KSL News Radio Listen app. Text the word app to 57500. KSL News Radio. We have you covered.
8:59, and we still have emergency traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Andy?
North and South 15 both backed up right now near a crash near 90th South, with the snow intensifying in that part of the freeway and starting to pile up on the road again. Slowdowns on North 15 even after the crash continue all the way to downtown Salt Lake City. In fact, they're probably at their worst in South Salt Lake and downtown as they've been all morning long. 201's got some really backed up traffic over by 5600 West. It doesn't speed up much, but at least it moves more consistently once you get past Bangerter Highway. I-80 out of Tooele County, reduced speeds between Lake Point and Saltaire, and then again over by the airport. Len?
Well, we got a crash on the southbound I-215 westbound ramp to eastbound I-80. That has that ramp closed. Now we have backing on the north end of the West Belt, slowing an